Chapter 1816. The self-destruction of a false god was already shocking enough. Not to mention a war god, a lesser-level war god. If Sima Yuan successfully self-destructed, not to mention them, even the inner demons wouldn't be able to survive. He had to stop Sima Yuan. This isn't loyalty, it's blind loyalty. Qin Feiyang shouted angrily. Whether it's loyalty or blind loyalty, as long as I have a clear conscience, it's fine. Don't try to persuade me anymore. It's meaningless. Think about how to escape and save your companions and the inner demons. Sima Yuan retreated while looking at Qin Feiyang. That destructive aura became more and more terrifying. He retreated because Qin Feiyang's speed was too fast. If he stood there and didn't move, Qin Feiyang would definitely be able to rush over in time to stop him from self-destructing. Shua. Qin Feiyang stopped when he heard this. He also understood the reason why Sima Yuan retreated. He also knew that Sima Yuan was determined to self-destruct. He wasn't afraid of Sima Yuan's self-destruction, because he could enter the castle or the Black Tortoise realm at any time. However, he couldn't sit back and do nothing about Zhao Tailai and the others. However, it was too late to turn back and save them. What's wrong? You've already given up? You can enter the Black Tortoise realm and the castle. Why must you stay outside? For the blood Kirin? For the inner demons? For friends? Now I want to ask you, is it worth it for you to do this? Sima Yuan said. As you said, whether it's worth it or not, I know. Qin Feiyang smiled. I see. It seems that our personalities are quite compatible. With you as my companion, I'm very satisfied. Sima Yuan also smiled. No, I won't die, and you won't self-destruct. Qin Feiyang shook his head. So confident? Sima Yuan was stunned and laughed. Then let me see. What methods do you have to stop me from self-destructing? Finished. With a flick of his hand, he threw out the dragon vein sword and shouted, quickly returned to Lord's side. Blood Kirin, quickly seized the dragon vein sword. Zhao Tailai's spirits lifted as he shouted, Are you kidding me? The Blood Kirin shouted angrily. If he wanted to snatch the dragon vein sword, he had to go through Sima Yuan. Wasn't that just courting death? Believe in young master. If he says he won't let Sima Yuan self-destruct, then Sima Yuan definitely won't succeed in self-destructing. Zhao Tailai said anxiously. If he was strong enough, why would he need the Blood Kirin? He had already caught up with them. The Blood Kirin was shocked. His lips twitched, and he said, Do you trust Qin Feiyang that much? Zhao Tailai nodded. Lunatic. What a bunch of lunatics. The Blood Kirin roared and teleported toward the dragon tattoo sword. The way he saw it, it was simply impossible for Qin Feiyang to stop Sima Yuan from self-detonating. But there was no other way. After all, its life was in the hands of Qin Feiyang. In the blink of an eye, seeing the Blood Kirin fearlessly chase after the dragon vein sword, Sima Yuan's brow furrowed. He shouted, You will all go to hell with me. Boom. The destructive aura suddenly soared to an even more terrifying level. It was at this moment. Qin Feiyang raised his arm and waved it gently. With a gentle wave, a blood-red flash appeared. It tore through the sky at an extremely shocking speed and disappeared into Sima Yuan's chi-si. Blood immediately splattered into the sky. Immediately after, Sima Yuan screamed in pain as a fist-sized bloody hole appeared on his lower abdomen, penetrating from the front to the back. The destructive aura also dissipated. The Blood Kirin's eyes widened as he looked at Sima Yuan in disbelief and continued to chase after the dragon vein sword. But in his heart, he was extremely shocked. He had actually stopped Sima Yuan's self-detonation. But what had happened before that? That blood-red flash was too fast, like a flash in the pan. Not to mention the Blood Kirin, who was focused on the dragon vein sword. Even Sima Yuan, who was facing Qin Feiyang, did not notice what it was. He only saw the flash of light, and his chi-si was destroyed. With his chi-si destroyed, his cultivation disappeared instantly. Sima Yuan also fell to the ground powerlessly. Like the Blood Kirin, his heart was filled with disbelief. What was going on? What exactly was that scarlet streak of light? Bang! Amidst the endless doubts, Sima Yuan fell to the ground with a loud bang. Although his cultivation was destroyed, he still had a divine body. The moment he fell, the ground within a radius of hundreds of miles suddenly sank, forming a huge crater. And Sima Yuan did not die. He lay in the deep crater and looked at Qin Feiyang in the sky. He could not help but smile bitterly. Was this kid's strength already so strong? Even he, a low-level war god, could not self-detonate if he wanted to? Lord Demon Ancestor, I'm sorry. I'm incompetent. At the same time, in the distance, Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai looked at each other and could not help but heave a sigh of relief. Although they believed that Qin Feiyang could definitely stop Sima Yuan, they were more or less nervous in the face of a low-level wargod's self-detonation. But now, the crisis was finally over. Zhao Tailai said, Old Tang, the Blood Kirin should not be able to subdue the Dragon Vein Sword by itself. Quickly go and help. Okay. Tang Hai nodded and chased after the Blood Kirin. Tang Hai, you stay here and watch Sima Yuan. I'll go and help. Qin Feiyang's voice suddenly sounded. Tang Hai was slightly surprised. He rushed to Qin Feiyang's side and frowned. Why don't you just kill them? Qin Feiyang smiled. He teleported and used the Dao word art to chase after the Blood Kirin and the Dragon Vein Sword. Soon, he saw the Blood Kirin and the Dragon Vein Sword. The sword and the beast were fighting in the void. The Blood Kirin had even activated its true divine body. Even so, it was powerless against the supreme-grade divine artifact, the Dragon Vein Sword. Seeing Qin Feiyang rush over, the Blood Kirin's spirit was lifted. It shouted, Why aren't you surrendering? Do you want to be destroyed by Qin Feiyang? The Dragon Vein Sword trembled, and a wave of fear came from it. Qin Feiyang's strength had not only shocked Sima Yuan and the Blood Kirin, but also the Dragon Vein Sword. Shua. Qin Feiyang rushed in front of the Blood Kirin. He looked at the Dragon Vein Sword and said, I don't want to talk nonsense. Surrender or be destroyed. Choose. Facing Qin Feiyang, who was so close, the Dragon Vein Sword panicked even more. The Blood Kirin shouted, The Kirin armor has surrendered. If you don't surrender, only death awaits you. Every supreme-grade divine artifact was very precious. To be honest, if Qin Feiyang really destroyed the Dragon Vein Sword, it would be a bit reluctant. The Dragon Vein Sword buzzed and trembled as if it was struggling. After a while, it released a wave of helpless emotions. Then, it flew in front of Qin Feiyang and bowed. At least you know what's good for you. Qin Feiyang released his divine will and entered the Dragon Vein Sword. He quickly found the blood contract. The Blood Kirin said, The owner of the Dragon Vein Sword is Sima Yuan, not the Demon Alpha. Qin Feiyang was surprised. Whether it was the Sky Demon flag or the Kirin armor, their owner was the Demon Alpha. But the owner of the Dragon Vein Sword was actually Sima Yuan. It seemed that the Demon Alpha's trust in this person was indeed extraordinary. However, the owner of the Dragon Vein Sword was Sima Yuan. So erasing the blood contract inside was not as difficult as erasing the Kirin armor. Because Sima Yuan's cultivation had been crippled, the most important thing was that even if he erased the Dragon Vein Sword's blood contract, it would not alarm the Demon Alpha. Divine power poured into the Dragon Vein Sword and easily erased the blood contract. Next, he quickly cut his finger and dripped blood to recognize it as his master. This way, he would obtain another supreme-grade divine artifact. Puff. At the bottom of the pit, when Qin Feiyang erased the Dragon Vein Sword's blood contract, Sima Yuan spat out another mouthful of blood. His blood-stained face was filled with grief, because it was obvious that the Dragon Vein Sword had fallen into Qin Feiyang's hands. Sima Yuan looked at Tang Hai, who was standing at the side without moving or saying a word, and said, You are the Hall Master of the Nether Hall, Tang Hai? Tang Hai looked at him and nodded. You didn't follow the wrong person. Qin Feiyang will definitely become the ruler of this continent in the future. And you will also follow him and be respected by the world and enjoy supreme glory, Sima Yuan said with a smile, a trace of envy in his eyes. Although he had followed the Demon Alpha and obtained great strength and unparalleled status, in the eyes of the world, there was only disgust and hatred for him. But Qin Feiyang was different. Qin Feiyang stood above benevolence and righteousness, the embodiment of benevolence and righteousness. In the near future, people would definitely worship him like a god. This was the difference. You don't have to envy us. As long as you turn back now and follow the young master to suppress the demon alpha, you will also be respected in the future. Tang Hai said coldly, "You are also a war god, so you should understand that sometimes, once you take the first step, you will never be able to turn back." Sima Yuan shook his head and smiled. He looked at Tang Hai and said, "Can I ask you for a favor?" "Speak." Tang Hai said, "Tell Qin Feiyang that if possible, give my brother, Sima Kuan, a way out. In this world, I only have him as my family, and I don't want him to be like me. Please." Sima Yuan said sincerely. Tang Hai frowned and said, "Are these your last words?" Sima Yuan got up and smiled at Tang Hai, saying, "Give me the dagger in your hand." Tang Hai said, "I won't give it to you, because the young master hasn't said that he wants you to die. You are his subordinate, so you should understand his character. The reason why he didn't kill me just now is because he wants me to submit. But I can't submit. Even if he doesn't kill me, I will continue to find opportunities to perish together with him. I think, as the person he trusts the most, you don't want me to become a threat to him." Sima Yuan said. Tang Hai was silent. Sima Yuan smiled. "Give it to me. Death is the best ending for me." Tang Hai took a deep breath and handed the dagger over. "Thank you." Sima Yuan smiled gratefully and looked at the ground with nostalgia. Without hesitation, he grabbed the dagger and slashed his neck. Blood gushed out. Then, Sima Yuan slowly fell down, and his life fluctuations quickly dissipated. Tang Hai waved his hand, and the dagger fell into his hand. He looked at Sima Yuan's face and murmured, "You are a respectable opponent." Then he retracted his gaze and turned to look at the inner demons. Chapter 18-17. Whoosh. After a while, Qin Feiyang and the Blood Kirin arrived. When they saw Sima Yuan lying in a pool of blood, Qin Feiyang immediately looked at Tang Hai and asked, "What happened?" "He committed suicide." Tang Hai said. "Suicide?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. He looked at the dagger in Tang Hai's hand, and then at the wound on Sima Yuan's neck. He could not help but sigh. Tang Hai said, "Did you not suspect that I killed him and only said that he committed suicide?" Qin Feiyang rolled his eyes at Tang Hai and waved his hand. The soil under his feet churned and quickly swallowed Sima Yuan's body. Then, he used teleportation and landed next to Zhao Tailai. He looked up at the inner demons. Tang Hai and the Blood Kirin followed closely behind. Zhao Tailai asked, "Young master, did you subdue the dragon vein sword?" "Of course." Qin Feiyang smiled. "That's great. Not only did you get the Kirin armor, but you also got the dragon vein sword. Your strength has skyrocketed." Zhao Tailai said excitedly. Qin Feiyang said, "Although you have 2 more supreme-grade artifacts, they are not very useful against the Demon Lord." "That's right. The Demon Lord has a heaven-defying artifact. No matter how many supreme-grade artifacts there are, they are just scrap metal." The Blood Kirin said. Hearing the Blood Kirin's words, Zhao Tailai's joy disappeared. The Blood Kirin rolled its eyes and went on to say, "But using a top-class weapon to deal with others should be no problem. You just want the young master to return the Kirin armor to you. You're still beating around the bush. Aren't you being hypocritical?" Zhao Tailai rolled his eyes. The Blood Kirin laughed and glanced at Qin Feiyang. However, it found that Qin Feiyang did not seem to hear it. He did not even look at it. It could not help but feel discouraged. Boom. Another heavenly tribulation descended. The inner demons were already a candle in the wind. The situation was worrying. Qin Feiyang said, "Which tribulation is this?" 79th. Zhao Tailai said, "There are still 20 heavenly tribulations left." Qin Feiyang murmured. He clasped his hands together and murmured, "You must survive, please." Tang Hai suddenly withdrew his gaze and looked at Qin Feiyang, saying, "Before Sima Yuan committed suicide, he asked me to tell you that if possible, spare his younger brother, Sima Kuan. Let Sima Kuan go." Qin Feiyang mumbled and shook his head. "Impossible. If not for Jiang Jingyi, Yinwei might have already died at Sima Kuan's hands. As for the rest, he could choose to forgive. But if he dared to harm Yinwei, then he must be killed. Tang Hai was not surprised by this answer at all. This was because when the Imperial Preceptor cut Yinwei alive, Sima Yuan and the Imperial Preceptor's fate had already been decided. Zhao Tailai suddenly looked at Qin Feiyang and asked, "Young master, do you think Jiang Jingyi and Yinwei will take the opportunity to rescue the Mermaid Princess and Lin Yi in Magic City?" Lin Yi, Mermaid Palace Master. Hearing Zhao Tailai's words, the Blood Kirin's gaze suddenly trembled slightly. However, Qin Feiyang and the other two did not notice this abnormality. Qin Feiyang pondered for a while and said, "To be honest, I don't want them to do this because it is too dangerous. Of course, if there is a chance, it would be best to rescue them." Zhao Tailai nodded. "Hey, Qin Feiyang." Just when Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai looked at the inner demons again, the Blood Kirin's voice suddenly sounded. Moreover, it had a deep tone. Qin Feiyang was taken aback. He retracted his gaze and looked at the Blood Kirin suspiciously. "How much do you know about Lin Yi and Mermaid Princess?" The Blood Kirin pondered for a while and asked, "Of course, I know about them. Why do you suddenly ask?" Qin Feiyang was puzzled. "Do you really know about them?" The Blood Kirin murmured, "Do you know why the Demon Alpha likes them?" Qin Feiyang said, "Because they are the most important people around me. The Demon Alpha wants to use them to threaten me." "This is just one of the reasons." The Blood Kirin said, "There are other reasons?" Qin Feiyang was surprised. "It seems that you don't actually know about these two women." The Blood Kirin sighed. "What do you mean?" Qin Feiyang frowned. The Blood Kirin glanced at him and said in a deep voice, "The reason why the Demon Alpha likes them is because of their war souls." When mentioning Lin Yi and Mermaid Princess war souls, the Blood Kirin's eyes were filled with deep awe. It seemed to be very afraid. War souls? Qin Feiyang was stunned. The memory that had been sealed for a long time slowly emerged. He really didn't know much about Lin Yi's war soul, but he had some impression of Mermaid Princess war soul. It seemed to be a vague golden figure, similar to the first Mermaid Emperor. Wait, I was wrong. To be exact, the Demon Alpha is interested in their war soul's gifted powers, the Blood Kirin said. Gifted powers? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were also curious. What kind of gifted powers made the Blood Kirin so afraid and the Demon Alpha so interested? The Blood Kirin said, "Their gifted powers are on the same level as all-seeing eye, eye of nothingness and eye of heaven." This, Qin Feiyang and the other two looked at each other. It is on the same level as all-seeing eye. This is too surprising. Blood Kirin, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us quickly. Zhao Tailai urged. Lin Yi's war soul is Oblivion Eye. The Mermaid Palace Master's war soul is Eye of Life. The Blood Kirin said word by word, Oblivion Eye? Eye of Life. The three looked at each other. You guys really don't know anything. The Blood Kirin shook his head and then slowly said, at the same time, Magic City. In a valley, two figures looked around as if they were looking for something. That's right. The two were Jiang Jingyi and Yinwei. Jiang Jingyi had already disguised himself as the black-haired old man. Whether it was his words, actions, aura, or temperament, they were almost exactly the same. All of a sudden, Yinwei pointed at a rock wall and whispered, "Brother Jiang, look, isn't that a sword mark?" Jiang Jingyi looked in the direction that Yinwei pointed and saw a few inconspicuous marks on the rock. The two walked closer to take a look. Those were the sword marks left by a sharp sword. Jiang Jingyi raised his arm, placed it on the sword mark, and pressed slightly. Gotcha! Cracks immediately appeared on the rock that was originally a single entity. Seeing that there was hope, Jiang Jingyi pressed harder. He pressed on the rock and immediately sank deeper. Crack! At that moment, with a faint sound, the ground in the middle of the valley slowly cracked open. Jiang Jingyi and Yinwei looked at each other and quickly ran over. Under the cracked ground, they saw an ancient stone staircase. The stone staircase was dark and was more than 2 meters wide. It was at a 45-degree angle and slanted downward. Without a doubt, this was the entrance to the Demon Tower. Jiang Jingyi looked at the stone staircase and turned to Yin Wei. He smiled and said, "Brother Yin, I'll have to trouble you." Yin Wei said, "I'm not even afraid of being skinned alive. Why would I be afraid of trouble? Come at me." Jiang Jingyi immediately slapped Yin Wei's chest. Yin Wei immediately spat out blood, and his face turned pale. Immediately after, Jiang Jingyi grabbed Yin Wei and rushed into the entrance. Under the stone staircase was a dark passage. There was no light at all, and it was extremely dim. But whether it was Jiang Jingyi or Yin Wei, their cultivation was not weak now. Even without light, they could see everything clearly. Phew! Jiang Jingyi looked up at the depths of the passage and let out a long breath. Then he stepped forward and walked into the depths of the passage. The passage was like a giant python, winding and winding, leading to the depths of the earth. About 10 breaths later, the two of them went deep into the ground. Finally, a glimmer of light appeared in front of them. Jiang Jingyi looked down at Yin Wei and said, "If you see Emperor Chun and the others later, don't be impulsive." "I know," Yin Wei said secretly. Jiang Jingyi sped up. Soon, he came to the exit of the passage. A huge underground square came into sight. The square was about 10,000 feet wide. The ground was inlaid with black stones, as flat as a mirror. And in the middle of the square stood a tall stone tower. The stone tower had 9 floors. It was as black as ink, as if a demon beast was lurking there, emitting a chilling aura. "That's the demon tower?" Jiang Jingyi muttered in his heart and walked toward the stone tower. Suddenly, a strong sense of danger came from behind. His body stiffened, and he slowly turned his head to take a look. He saw an old man with fiery red clothes standing behind him without him noticing. Seeing the old man, Jiang Jingyi's eyes trembled. He quickly turned to face the old man and bowed. "Greetings, Lord Yin." "So he's Lord Yin." Yin Wei also took the opportunity to look at the old man. Not only was the old man in a red robe, but his hair was also red. His old face looked extremely cold, giving people a great sense of danger. Lord Yin was silent. He looked at Jiang Jingyi and Yin Wei and suddenly released his aura. This aura was so strong that it almost made the two of them despair. It was a war god. "What are you doing here? Don't you know that this is the forbidden area of Shanghai?" Lord Yin stared at Jiang Jingyi and said. Jiang Jingyi trembled and quickly said, "Lord, please forgive me. It was Lord Sima Kuan who asked me to come." "Sima Kuan?" Lord Yin raised his eyebrows and his cold expression softened. He said, "Why did Sima Kuan ask you to come?" Jiang Jingyi waved his hand and threw Yin Wei to the ground. He said, "This man is Qin Feiyang's accomplice. He followed Zhuge Xingfeng into Shanghai not long ago and was caught by Lord Sima Kuan. Then, Lord Sima Kuan asked me to bring him to the Demon Tower and hand him over to Lord Yin." "Qin Feiyang's accomplice?" The Flame King looked at Yin Wei in surprise and said, "Are you sure you didn't make a mistake? He's just a war god. How could Qin Feiyang let him infiltrate Shanghai?" "So what if he's a war god? Although an ant is small, there will be a time when it can defeat an elephant." Yin Wei snorted. Lord Yin was stunned. "Lord Yin, don't underestimate him. Although he's weak, he's very stubborn. Back then in the Wind Moon Pavilion, when we captured him, Zhuge Shunyun used the punishment of cutting him alive. But guess what? Throughout the whole process, he didn't even move his eyebrows." Jiang Jingyi said. Genius remembered this site's address in 1 second. Mobile version of reading website, M. Chapter 1818. Really? The Flame King was surprised. The taste of being skinned alive was not just a little scary, but there was actually someone who could withstand it? Absolutely. Jiang Jingyi nodded. "Not bad." The Flame King looked at Yin Wei and nodded approvingly. Yin Wei sneered. "If you have any tricks, just come at me. Don't worry, I won't do anything to you. But in the end, you will definitely suffer a fate worse than death." The Flame King smiled and looked at Jiang Jingyi, waving his hand. "All right, I'll take him. You can go now?" "Yes." Jiang Jingyi replied respectfully and turned to enter the secret passage, leaving without looking back. However, after leaving the Flame King's sight, He immediately took out the jade pendant made of hidden soul stone and wore it around his neck. Then, he went back the way he came and hid at the exit, secretly spying on the Flame King and Yin Wei. "What's your name?" "In the square." The Flame King looked down at Yin Wei and asked. Yin Wei got up, straightened his back, and looked at the Flame King proudly. "I'm Yin Wei, Master." The Flame King muttered to himself and suddenly laughed. "I didn't expect a trash like you to be so arrogant, but don't worry, soon you will be lying in front of me like a dog. In your dreams." Yin Wei sneered. "Let's wait and see." The Flame King smirked and grabbed Yin Wei's neck, then dragged Yin Wei towards the demon pagoda. "What kind of tricks does this person have?" "In the dark." Zhang Jingyi frowned. Although he already knew about this person's existence in the Wind Moon Pavilion and knew what he looked like, he knew nothing about this person's tricks. So now, looking at the Flame King's confident look, he couldn't help but worry about Yin Wei. He also regretted letting Yin Wei take the risk. While Zhang Jingyi was upset, the Flame King dragged Yin Wei and walked to the gate of the demon pagoda. The gate was tightly shut. King Yin waved his hand, and the door slowly opened. Zhang Jingyi's eyes flashed. He immediately entered the spatial divine object, took off the jade pendant, and placed it on the ground of the spatial divine object. As long as this soul concealment stone was placed on the ground, it could be used to isolate the search of divine sense. Immediately after, Zhang Jingyi waved his hand, and an image appeared in the void in front of him. The Flame King dragged Yin Wei into the demon pagoda. Seeing this scene, Zhang Jingyi hurriedly controlled the spatial divine object and silently streaked across the sky, flashing into the devil pagoda. As soon as he entered the tower, a long and narrow corridor appeared on the screen. On both sides of the corridor, there was a stone door every 5 or 6 meters. Zhang Jingyi looked at the stone doors and frowned slightly. Were there prison cells behind these stone doors? He knew nothing about the Devil Pagoda. However, what was certain was that Qin Feiyang's grandfathers were definitely behind one of the stone doors. In the corridor, the Flame King dragged Yin Wei all the way to the end. There was also a stone door here. Rumble. The Flame King waved his hand, and the stone door slowly opened. Looking at the inside of the stone door, whether it was Yin Wei or Zhang Jingyi who was hiding in the spatial divine item, they were all extremely shocked. They originally thought that there would be prison cells behind the stone door. However, they didn't expect that it would be a cultivation room. After the Flame King entered the cultivation room, he threw Yin Wei on the ground and raised his head to look at the center of the cultivation room. The cultivation room wasn't big. It was about 300 feet in size. In the center of the cultivation room, there was an ancient futon. On the futon, a woman in white was sitting cross-legged. The woman was about 20 years old. She had an excellent figure. She was extremely beautiful. Her hair was like a waterfall. Her skin was like ice and her bones were like jade. She was like a fairy. However, this woman looked extremely cold, as if she was an emotionless person. How could it be her? When Yin Wei got up and raised his head to look at the woman, his body suddenly froze. In the spatial divine object, Zhang Jingyi looked at the woman in white in the image, and he couldn't believe it. Looking at your reaction, I can confirm that you are really Qin Feiyang's man. The Flame King looked down at Yin Wei and said jokingly. He then turned to look at the woman in white and cupped his fist. Greetings, Missy. There was a hint of respect for the woman in white in his expression. And the woman in white nodded indifferently, then glanced at Yin Wei and asked, Who is he? The Flame King smiled and said, replying to Miss, he is Qin Feiyang's accomplice. His name is Yin Wei. Qin Feiyang's accomplice is our enemy. You can just kill him. Why did you send him to me? The woman in white frowned and was puzzled. Enemy? Yin Wei couldn't help it anymore. He yelled, Linny, what's wrong with you? Although you haven't seen me and don't know me, you know the young master. You and the young master are childhood sweethearts. How can you say that you are an enemy? That's right. The woman in front of me is Linny. Yin Wei had never seen Lin Yi, but when he was with Qin Feiyang and others, he saw Lin Yi's image. Although Lin Yi was more mature than before over the years, her appearance did not change much. So, he could recognize her at a glance. Childhood sweethearts? But hearing Yin Wei's words, Lin Yi's face was full of disdain. she said coldly. How can I be childhood sweethearts with Master's enemy? What the hell is going on? Looking at Lin Yi's indifferent eyes full of hatred for Qin Feiyang, Yanwei looked at the Flame King in confusion and said angrily, It's a surprise, right? As I said just now, I will make you suffer a fate worse than death. The Flame King sneered. Yanwei glanced at the Flame King, then looked at Lin Yi and asked, You really don't know Qin Feiyang? Don't you remember that when you were in Iron Bull Town? Shut up. I'll say it again. I have nothing to do with Qin Feiyang except hatred. Before Yanwei finished speaking, Lin Yi spoke coldly. Hatred? Yanwei was suspicious. Why is there hatred? The Flame King joked. Because Miss Yi's parents, brothers, and friends were all killed by Qin Feiyang. Nonsense. Nonsense. Yanwei was furious. Zhang Zhengyi, who was in the spatial divine item, was furious. This was completely groundless. Yanwei said anxiously, Don't listen to the demon ancestor's nonsense. Young master, Clang. Without waiting for Yanwei to finish speaking, Lin Yi's eyes turned cold, and a 3-foot thin sword appeared. She grabbed the thin sword and placed it on Yanwei's neck. Yanwei couldn't help but feel his scalp tingling. Her eyes were full of murderous intent. Without a doubt, if he dared to say another word, Lin Yi would definitely kill him mercilessly. However, why is this? Does Lin Yi really hate Qin Feiyang? Or is there another reason? Wait, did Lin Yi lose her memory? Yanwei's eyes trembled slightly, staring at Lin Yi. His face was full of surprise. In fact, you and I both understand the relationship between Lin Yi and Qin Feiyang. But now, Lin Yi doesn't remember anything. The Flame King's voice suddenly sounded in Yanwei's mind. She really lost her memory? Yanwei was taken aback. Yes, she has forgotten all her previous memories. Now she only knows that she is the disciple of the demon ancestor. The Flame King transmitted his voice. Yanwei said angrily, Are you the one who erased her memory? No. She erased her past memories by herself. The Flame King secretly said. Impossible. Yanwei said flatly. Back then, the demon ancestor deceived her to come to Magic City and gave her a divine art. This divine art is called Art of Indifference. It has the ability to defy the heavens. The Flame King secretly said. Art of Indifference? Yanwei frowned. Yes, Art of Indifference can make a person's talent skyrocket. Didn't you notice? Lin Yi now has the cultivation base of a pseudo-god. The Flame King transmitted his voice. Pseudo-god? Yanwei looked up at Lin Yi, and his body trembled suddenly. Sure enough, the aura that Lin Yi exuded now was that of a pseudo-god. Although Art of Indifference can defy the heavens, it also has a terrible side effect. That is, those who cultivate Art of Indifference will gradually forget everything in the past as their cultivation base improves. The Flame King secretly said. It turns out to be like this. Yanwei murmured. And Lin Yi lost all her memories when she broke through to the peak of 9-star combat Emperor realm. At that time, we told her that Qin Feiyang killed her family. It was the demon ancestor who saved her, accepted her as a disciple, and taught her cultivation. So now, in her heart, there is only hatred for Qin Feiyang. The Flame King secretly laughed. Damn it, damn it. Yanwei was furious and roared, You can't even let a woman go. You bastards are really despicable. Haha. The Flame King laughed and transmitted his voice. No one forced her at the beginning. She chose Art of Indifference by herself. How can you say that we are despicable? What a joke. If you didn't deceive her and lure her to Magic City, would she cultivate Art of Indifference without any precaution? Yanwei said angrily. Now that you mention it, it does make sense. But it has already happened. What can you do? Wake her up? It will never be possible. Now, she is the biggest weapon in our hands. Of course, her weapon is used to deal with you. The Flame King laughed, but he was also transmitting his voice. After all, Lin Yi was right next to him. Although she had lost her past memories, her mind was fine, so he definitely couldn't let her hear these words. As for Yanwei, the Flame King didn't care at all, because Lin Yi wouldn't believe what Yanwei said at all. This is a scam. Wake up, I beg you. Yanwei looked at Lin Yi and shouted. Clang. Sure enough, as the Flame King expected, Lin Yi not only didn't believe it, but she also wanted to kill him. The thin sword that was pressed against Yanwei's neck moved slightly, and a line of blood immediately appeared. Seeing this, the Flame King suddenly broke out in cold sweat and shouted, Missy, you can't kill him now. Why? Lin Yi asked. The Flame King said, Sima Kuan asked someone to send him here. Obviously, he wants to use him to deal with Qin Feiyang. You mean, with the eyes of indifference? Lin Yi asked. Yes. The Flame King nodded. Lin Yi glanced at Yanwei, then put away the thin sword. The Flame King wiped his cold sweat. Although Lin Yi was just a pawn, her position in the heart of the demon ancestor was higher than him, the god of war. Her status was even on par with Sima Kuan and Sima Yuan. So for Lin Yi, he didn't dare to offend her at all. Genius remembered this site's address in 1 second. Mobile version reading website. Chapter 1819. Eyes of Oblivion? Yanwei listened to the conversation between the two, and his eyes were full of surprise. Eyes of Oblivion is Ms. Yi's battle soul. King Yin looked at Yanwei with a smile and said, he did not transmit his voice. What kind of battle soul? Yanwei asked. The Eyes of Oblivion is the same as the Art of Oblivion. It makes people forget everything. King Yin said, forget everything? Yanwei was shocked.
Yes.
But there are differences between the two. The Art of Oblivion will only make the cultivator lose their memory bit by bit, but Ms. Yi's Eyes of Oblivion forcibly deprives others of their memory in an instant, and anyone who is deprived of their memory will listen to Ms. Yi's words. This is the Eyes of Oblivion. King Yin smiled. What? There is such a terrifying battle soul in the world? Yanwei was shocked. Jiang Jingyi's face turned pale when he heard King Yan's words in the space artifact. He really didn't expect Lin Yi to awaken such a terrifying battle soul. For Lin Yi, neither Jiang Jingyi nor Qin Yuan paid much attention to her. Therefore, this was the first time they heard of it. Wait, Yanwei suddenly asked, why haven't I heard the young master and the state preceptor mention this? Your young master doesn't know about this at all, even in the entire spiritual state at that time. Except for the mermaid princess who had a good relationship with Lin Yi, no one knew about it, because since the Eyes of Oblivion was awakened, Lin Yi has never shown this battle soul in front of others because she also knows that this battle soul is quite terrifying. If it is spread out, it may cause a fatal disaster or attract some people with bad intentions. As for the state preceptor, of course, we also intended to hide it. After all, this is not a trivial matter. King Yin secretly said. These words naturally couldn't be heard by Lin Yi. Yanwei frowned and said, since she is in the spiritual state and has never awakened the Eyes of Oblivion, how did you know? We didn't know at first either. At first, we only went to Lin Yi and the mermaid princess to deal with Qin Feiyang. But later, under our surveillance, we accidentally overheard her conversation with the mermaid princess. When we heard about their battle soul's innate divine powers, we were also quite shocked. Then, we changed our plans, using their thirst for power to lure them to demonic Dragon Island. The plan was also very successful. In the end, they all became our people. The Flame King transmitted his voice. The thirst for power, Yanwei mumbled. There was no doubt about it. Whether it was Lin Yi or the mermaid princess, the reason why they desired strength was Qin Feiyang. They wanted to stay by Qin Feiyang's side and help Qin Feiyang. However, the fiend ancestor used this point of theirs to trick and manipulate them. Why was the human heart so sinister? Suddenly, Yanwei realized another key point and frowned. Wait, what battle soul did the mermaid princess activate? Your young master has seen her battle soul, but your young master knows nothing about her battle soul's innate divine powers. Her innate divine powers is called the Eye of Life. Once the Eye of Life is activated, it can provide a steady stream of vitality to her companions, and it's not targeted at a single person, but at a wide range. In other words, even if there are thousands of people, the Eye of Life can provide vitality at the same time. Even if the Sea of Qi is destroyed, it can be repaired instantly with the help of the Eye of Life. It's no exaggeration to say that as long as the mermaid princess is around, her companions have an immortal body. Tell me, isn't this innate divine powers terrifying? The Flame King secretly smiled proudly. Yinwei was dumbfounded. He didn't expect that both Lin Yi and the mermaid princess had activated such terrifying innate divine powers. The Eye of Oblivion, the Eye of Life, these are simply heaven-defying existences. It's quite fun to talk about it. These two golden mountains originally belonged to your young master. No one can take them away. But what's the result? Your young master doesn't know how lucky he is. He wants to leave them in the spiritual state and doesn't care about them. Now, he wants to benefit us. Don't you think it's ridiculous? The Flame King secretly said, his words full of sarcasm. It's not that the young master doesn't care about them. He just doesn't want them to take risks with him. Don't say that the young master doesn't know their innate divine powers. Even if he knows, the young master will do the same. An inhumane beast like you will never understand the young master's good intentions. Yen Wei said sternly. Ha ha. The Flame King laughed and said sarcastically, don't find excuses for his stupidity. In this world, only smart people can stand at the highest place and overlook the common people. Really? Then let's wait and see. Let's see who will have the last laugh. Will it be your demon ancestor or my young master? Yen Wei sneered again and again. Okay, let's wait and see. The Flame King's eyebrows were full of disdain. He turned to look at Linny and said, Missy, erase his memory. Wait, what about the mermaid princess? Did she also cultivate the art of indifference? Yen Wei hurriedly said, she didn't. But her memory has been deprived by Missy. The Flame King said, what do you mean? Does it mean that after the memory is deprived by the Eye of Oblivion, the memory will disappear forever? Yen Wei was surprised. No, no, no. Linny can return their memory to them, or kill Linny, and their memory will be restored. But do you think Linny will return their memory to them now? Then there is only one way left. Kill Linny, but with our protection, can you kill her? I'm guessing that even Qin Feiyong wouldn't be able to do this. The Flame King laughed secretly, revealing an expression as if victory was already in his hands. Yen Wei was silent. After a while, he glanced at Linny and stared at the Flame King. Young master, you can't do it, but I can. Boom. A destructive aura suddenly rushed out of his body. Self-destruct. That's right. He chose to self-destruct without hesitation. Because the Flame King was a god of war, it was impossible for him to kill Lin Yi in front of the Flame King. Moreover, even if it was Lin Yi, he was not her opponent. So he could only use self-destruct, hoping to perish together with Lin Yi. If he did this, he might be blamed by Qin Feiyong, but he did not regret it. Because in his eyes, no matter what the relationship between Lin Yi and Qin Feiyong was, it didn't matter. What mattered was that Qin Feiyong was fine. But looking at Yin Wei's self-destruction, whether it was the Flame King or Lin Yi, they were not moved at all. Their expressions were full of indifference and disdain. One of them was a god of war, and the other was a pseudo-god. Yin Wei, a mere war emperor, wanted to self-destruct in front of them. Wasn't this a fool's dream? However, just as the Flame King was about to make a move and destroy Yin Wei's Sea of Qi, an invisible force emerged, and Yin Wei immediately disappeared from their sight. And the Flame King was taken aback. Lin Yi also frowned. Boom. The Flame King came back to his senses and immediately released his divine sense. But in the cultivation room, he found nothing. What happened? The Flame King was surprised as he stepped out of the cultivation room. He looked at the empty corridor and the half-closed door of the demonic pagoda. He then waved his hand, and the demonic pagoda's door closed with a loud bang. Following that, divine sense enveloped the entire first floor of the demon tower, but he still found nothing. Lin Yi also walked out of the cultivation room, stood next to the Flame King, and asked, "Did you find it?" The Flame King shook his head. "It seems that they have escaped before you closed the demon tower's door. But why didn't you close the demon tower's door when you came in before?" Lin Yi said angrily. The Flame King smiled bitterly and said, "How would I know that he has accomplices? Don't make excuses for your mistakes. I will report this matter to my master later, Linny said. Miss, don't. I will chase after them right away. The Flame King's face changed and said hurriedly. Then why aren't you going? Linny shouted. Yes, yes. The Flame King nodded repeatedly and opened the Demon Tower's door again. Divine sense enveloped all directions, searching while rushing toward the secret passage. What a useless waste. Lin Yi snorted coldly, turned around, and returned to the cultivation room. She sat cross-legged on the futon and continued to meditate with her eyes closed. But the two did not know. Yanwei and Jiang Jingyi did not leave. They were in the cultivation room at this moment. Inside the space divine item, Yanwei glared at Jiang Jingyi and said, Brother Jiang, what are you doing? What if your whereabouts are exposed? Don't worry, with the hidden soul stone, they can't find us. But you are too impulsive. You actually self-destructed. Have you ever thought that your self-destruction can't kill Linny at all? After all, she now has the cultivation of a pseudo-god, Jiang Jingyi said. How can I not know? But what can I do? Do I just watch the demon ancestor use her to deal with the young master? You also know the young master's character. He definitely can't kill Linny, so I might as well take the risk. Yanwei sighed. Jiang Jingyi couldn't help but be absent-minded when he heard it. What kind of charm does Qin Feiyang have? He actually made this person so loyal that he even sacrificed his life? Have you ever thought that if Lin Yi really died under your self-destruction, Qin Feiyang might blame you? Jiang Jingyi asked calmly. I thought about it, but it doesn't matter. Yanwei said, What a loyal and iron-blooded man. Jiang Jingyi sighed secretly. Yanwei looked at Lin Yi in the picture, and murderous intent flashed in his eyes. He said, Now that the Flame King is not here, it is a good opportunity. Send me out quickly. I have said that your self-destruction can't kill her. Why are you so stubborn? I also advise you to give up this idea as soon as possible because I can't do this. I want to keep you as a talent for Qin Feiyang. Jiang Jingyi snorted coldly. If such a loyal person were to sacrifice himself here, wouldn't it be a pity? Then what do you say? Yanwei looked at him angrily. Chapter 1820. I say, Old Yin, why do you only want to flaunt your might? Didn't you notice that there is someone stronger than you standing in front of you? Jiang Jingyi said angrily. In front of me? Yanwei was taken aback for a moment and glanced around. There is no one else here except me and Jiang Jingyi. Wait, are you talking about yourself? Suddenly, Yanwei frowned and looked at Jiang Jingyi. Yes, I am also a pseudo-god. My chances of killing Lin Yi are higher than yours. Jiang Jingyi looked at him helplessly. No, 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 no. Yanwei shook his head quickly. Why not? Are you looking down on me? Jiang Jingyi was displeased. No, no. You are one of the most respected elders of the young master. How can I let you take the risk? Moreover, Demon Ancestor likes Lin Yi so much. He must have left some life-saving means for her. Maybe Demon Ancestor's murderous intent is lurking in Lin Yi's body. It is even possible that the thin sword that Lin Yi took out before is a superb artifact. In other words, if you go out now, it is likely to be a dead end. Yanwei said in a deep voice, It turns out that you know it too. I thought you didn't know. Jiang Jingyi rolled his eyes at him. Ugh. Yanwei was stunned. I don't really want to go out and kill Lin Yi. I just want you to stand from a bystander's point of view and see the current situation clearly. Jiang Jingyi sighed. It turns out to be like this. Yanwei suddenly realized and then smiled bitterly. This was the so-called, the onlooker sees the game more clearly than the player involved. When he wanted to self-destruct before, he didn't think about these problems at all. But when he heard Jiang Jingyi say that he wanted to go out and kill Lin Yi, his mind became clear. All the possibilities were instantly thought of. Although you were a little confused just now, it also reflects that you are a person who can do anything for others. A person like you is worth befriending. Jiang Jingyi smiled. Yanwei smiled awkwardly and said, But we still have to think of a solution. We have to ask Qin Feiyang about this. After all, he is the main character of this matter. Jiang Jingyi took out an image crystal and sent a message to Luo Qingzhu. Wang. Very soon, Luo Qingzhu's figure appeared. Zhang Jingyi said, Qingzhu, go find Qin Feiyang immediately. Tell him we have something to discuss with him. Yanwei added, it's about Lin Yi and the mermaid princess. Lin Yi? Mermaid princess? Luo Qingzhu was stunned and asked, are you talking about their battle souls? How did you know? Zhang Jingyi and Yanwei were surprised. Luo Qingzhu said, the blood Kirin told Qin Feiyang about this. Zhang Jingyi asked, then what does he think? He guessed that you must have sent us a message, so he asked me to tell you not to be impulsive. Just monitor the situation in Demon Capital. As for Lin Yi and the mermaid princess, when Luo Qingzhu said this, her expression suddenly became extremely melancholy. What's wrong? Zhang Jingyi and Luo Qingzhu looked at each other and looked at Luo Qingzhu suspiciously. Qin Feiyang said that if he really wants to kill the mermaid princess and Lin Yi, he will do it personally. Luo Qingzhu sighed. Zhang Jingyi and Luo Qingzhu's eyes trembled. Killing Lin Yi and Luo Qingzhu with his own hands was probably more painful than death for Qin Feiyang. In fact, we all know that he is reluctant to do so, but for the overall situation, for the sake of the common people, I think he will definitely be ruthless. Luo Qingzhu said. Zhang Jingyi and Luo Qingzhu nodded. Yanwei exhaled and said, well, if there is any news, we will pass it to you as soon as possible. And Luo Qingzhu nodded and exhorted, you must protect yourself. In addition, according to our guess, now that your whereabouts are exposed, the demon ancestors should move to Demon Capital. Zhang Jingyi and Luo Qingzhu looked at each other, and there was a trace of anxiety on their faces. They hadn't thought of this before. In other words, they had already alerted the enemy. Don't worry, don't blame yourself, and don't take the risk to inquire. Luo Qingzhu said, what if the demon ancestor really moves to Demon Capital? Yanwei frowned. Let nature take its course. Luo Qingzhu said. Sigh. Zhang Jingyi and Yanwei sighed, and the phantoms quickly dissipated. Luo Qingzhu also put away the image crystal and sighed. I really hope that the final outcome will not be too cruel. Everyone knew the position of Lin Yi and the mermaid princess in Qin Feiyang's heart. If he really killed the two of them, Qin Feiyang's heart would definitely bleed. And after that, Qin Feiyang would also activate the Divine Dragon's secret art's fourth move, the Gate of Rebirth, to resurrect the two of them. This was a scene that Luo Qingzhu never wanted to see. Because once the Gate of Rebirth was activated, Qin Feiyang would pay the price of losing all his cultivation. He might even die on the spot. Demon Capital. After searching the vicinity of the Demon Tower, there was no trace of Yanwei and Zhang Jingyi. The Flame King hesitated again and again. In the end, he plucked up his courage and reported this matter to Sima Kuan. Without a doubt, Sima Kuan, who learned about this matter, was immediately furious and scolded the Flame King. But scolding the Flame King didn't help. Sima Kuan immediately ordered to search the entire city, not letting go of any suspicious person. At the same time, the state preceptor was also extremely angry. He was also quite disgusted with Sima Kuan. He had already told him to just kill Yanwei and end everything, but he just didn't listen. Now, Yanwei had escaped. Although Yanwei's strength was very weak, the current threat could be said to be greater than Qin Feiyang. Because he could control the movements in Demon Capital and report to Qin Feiyang at any time. As for whether Yanwei could pass the news to Qin Feiyang, there was no doubt about it. Although Yanwei's image crystal was destroyed, he still had an accomplice. Since he was Yanwei's accomplice, he must be able to contact Qin Feiyang outside. Therefore, after calming down, the state preceptor, as expected by Qin Feiyang and the others, immediately suggested to Sima Kuan to move to Demon Capital immediately. Inside the Space Divine item, Zhang Jingyi and Yanwei had a worried look on their faces. It wasn't easy for them to pass the location of Demon Capital to Qin Feiyang, but they didn't expect that because of a moment of carelessness, their previous efforts would be in vain. Brother Jiang, we didn't think it through. If it was the young lord, he definitely wouldn't make such a mistake. Yanwei shook his head and sighed. Yes, let's not make any more trouble. Just monitor the movements here so that we don't cause any more trouble for Qin Feiyang. Zhang Jingyi said. Yanwei nodded. If they could really help Qin Feiyang, it would be a good thing. But if the more they helped, the more trouble they would cause. Outside, the inner demon's tribulation wasn't over yet. Now, he had gone through 98 heavenly tribulations, and there was only one left. But at this moment, whether it was Qin Fei Yang, the other two, or the blood Kirin, their hearts were extremely heavy, because the last heavenly tribulation was the real tribulation. And most importantly, the inner demons only had a wisp of consciousness left, like a falling leaf in the wind, floating in the void. It was hard to imagine. What would happen when the last heavenly tribulation fell? Crack, boom. Blood clouds rolled in the sky, and thunder and lightning roared. The heavenly tribulation covered all directions, making the atmosphere extremely oppressive. Seeing that the last heavenly tribulation still hadn't fallen, Zhao Tailai couldn't help but say angrily, "How long is it going to take? Do we have to kill the inner demons to be satisfied?" This heavenly tribulation is used to kill the inner demons. Look at the inner demons' current state. They might not even be able to survive the previous heavenly tribulations, let alone the last one. It's almost impossible for them to pass the tribulation successfully. The blood Kirin sighed. "Young master." Zhao Tailai turned his head to look at Qin Fei Yang. Qin Fei Yang was silent. He raised his head and glanced at the blood-red lightning in the clouds, his eyes filled with determination. No matter what price he had to pay, he had to help the inner demons pass this tribulation successfully. Crack. After about 10 breaths, with a deafening sound, the last heavenly tribulation finally formed, carrying a destructive aura as it blasted toward the inner demons. Looking at the last heavenly tribulation, Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, and the blood Kirin's eyes almost popped out. This heavenly tribulation was at least 10 times bigger than the previous 98 heavenly tribulations. It was like a blood-red dragon roaring in the void. The aura it exuded was even more terrifying. Tang Hai said in a deep voice, "According to my judgment, the power of this heavenly tribulation is really the sum of the previous 98 heavenly tribulations." Zhao Tailai said, "With such a terrifying heavenly tribulation, unless a god descends, the inner demons will definitely die. This is fate." The blood Kirin shook his head and sighed. "Life is in your own hands. Don't rely on others' charity." But suddenly, Qin Fei Yang's voice rang out. The blood Kirin turned to look at Qin Fei Yang. When he saw Qin Fei Yang's eyes, he asked in surprise, "What do you want to do?" "Today, I want to fight with the heavens." Qin Fei Yang's eyes shone brightly. He suddenly stepped on the ground and turned into a divine rainbow. He soared 90,000 miles into the sky and headed straight for the heavenly tribulation. "Young master." Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai's expressions changed. The blood Kirin was also extremely shocked. At the same time, Qin Fei Yang and the snow python also opened their eyes wide. They looked at Qin Fei Yang in horror. "What are you doing, my lord? This is my tribulation. I don't need your help. Back off." In the void, seeing Qin Fei Yang rush toward the heavenly tribulation, the inner demons also roared angrily. In fact, he was worried about Qin Fei Yang, because he had personally experienced the previous 98 heavenly tribulations. No one knew better than him how terrifying the last heavenly tribulation was. Qin Fei Yang would definitely die if he rushed up rashly. "If I can't even protect you, then what's the point of having this kind of strength?" However, Qin Fei Yang turned a deaf ear to the inner demon's shouts. He said without turning his head, "You can go and protect the others. I'm just an inner demon. My existence is intolerable by the heavens. Are you an idiot to risk your life for me?" The inner demons roared. "You can think of me as an idiot." Qin Fei Yang smiled faintly and said, "Old Zhao, old Tang, if I don't survive, the task of rescuing my mother and the others will be left to you." Chapter 1821. Tang Hai said expressionlessly, "If you die, I'll go to the demon lord immediately. I'll go to Mu Tianyang too." Zhao Tailai said angrily. It was rare that he did not scold Tang Hai. "Wait, one of you is with the demon lord and the other with Mu Tianyang. What should I do?" The blood Kirin said quickly, "Who cares? Do whatever you want." Zhao Tailai rolled his eyes. "You." Qin Fei Yang's expression froze. He shook his head helplessly and stared at the aggressive, heavenly tribulation. He smiled and murmured, "It seems that I can't die yet. In that case, I'll try my best to survive." Boom! A monstrous battle intent roared out of his body.
Yes.
"You must try your best to survive." The inner demons murmured and did not stop Qin Feiyang. Above the mountains and rivers, the snow python suddenly looked away and turned to Qin Yuan. He laughed and said, "Qin Yuan, let's talk about conditions." Qin Yuan was stunned and said, "Go ahead." His gaze never left Qin Feiyang. The snow python said, "I want you to help Qin Feiyang, but after that, you have to give me your dog life." Qin Yuan finally looked away and said to the snow python, "It's been so many years. You still haven't let it go?" "Let it go?" The snow python smiled coldly and said, "If it were you, would you be able to let it go?" "I can." Qin Yuan nodded. "Do you really think you're a saint? You can say it so easily now because you haven't encountered it. When you do, you'll be crazier than me." The snow python snorted. "Whether you believe it or not, I'm not lying." Qin Yuan sighed. "Forget it. I don't want your dog life. Let's watch Qin Feiyang be destroyed by the heavenly tribulation together." The snow python sneered. "Then let's watch quietly." Qin Yuan looked at Qin Feiyang again, his eyes full of anticipation. In the blink of an eye, Qin Feiyang was already very close to the heavenly tribulation. Even though he had yet to face the heavenly tribulation head-on, the terrifying destructive power had already caused his body to be drenched in blood. One could imagine how terrifying this heavenly tribulation was. However, he didn't look back, nor did he feel the slightest bit of fear. All he had was a firm belief. He had to survive. Armor. Open. All of a sudden, Qin Feiyang roared, and a suit of armor appeared on his body. However, this armor was not the Qilin armor, nor was it the armor that the Crocodile Emperor had given him, because the battle armor that the Crocodile Emperor gave him was already shattered when he fought with Emperor Hong. This set of armor had never been seen before. Other than the people around him, no one else knew about it. Rumble. The moment the armor appeared, the heavenly tribulation descended with a loud rumble and ruthlessly struck Qin Feiyang's body. Qin Feiyang immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, his face deathly pale. However, the armor on his body had actually withstood the heavenly tribulation. "Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, what kind of armor is that?" This scene shocked the blood Qilin so much that its eyeballs almost popped out. It looked as if it had seen a ghost. Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai did not answer the blood Qilin, but stared nervously at Qin Feiyang. Although the armor had withstood the heavenly tribulation did not disappear. It turned into a blood-colored thunderbolt power, drowning Qin Feiyang. Clang! The thunderbolt power continued to bombard the armor, bursting into dazzling flames. The snow python was shocked and angry. "Qin Yuan, what's going on? Did you secretly give him that armor?" "Except for the Changshui and the castle that originally belonged to him, I have never given him any divine weapons." Qin Yuan shook his head, his old eyes shining with a strange light. This kid was really a surprise. "Are you sure?" The snow python raised its eyebrows. Qin Yuan nodded. "Then what is going on?" The snow python stared at Qin Feiyang in the image, its narrow eyes full of disbelief. It could actually withstand the last heavenly tribulation. The armor's grade had to be at least half a step away from the Divine Lord level. High up in the sky, Qin Feiyang, who was drowned by the heavenly tribulation, was not feeling well, although he had the blood-colored armor to protect his body, because the power of the heavenly tribulation had far exceeded the limit of what he could withstand. Others might not know about this armor, but he knew very well that it could help him block 90% of the damage. That's right, it was 90% of the damage. In other words, with the help of this armor, Qin Feiyang's body only suffered 10% of the full power of the heavenly tribulation. But even this 10% was not enough for his body to withstand. Streaks of blood appeared. His body was about to be torn apart. The heart-wrenching pain crazily attacked every nerve in his body. Even if he had merged with the flame of life, even if the power of his bloodline had been completely atavistic, he could not stop the trend of his body cracking. If it were not for the inner demons, he would definitely not continue to endure, because it was very likely that he would die. Crack. Suddenly, accompanied by a loud noise, a crack suddenly appeared on the blood-colored armor on his body. This change not only made Qin Feiyang's expression change on the spot, but even the inner demons were shocked and hurriedly flew toward Qin Feiyang. "Don't come up," Qin Feiyang shouted. The inner demons stopped in the void and shouted, "But, in your current state, not only will you not be able to help, but you will also be killed by the heavenly tribulation. Just stay down there and watch for me," Qin Feiyang said angrily. "Okay." The inner demons nodded. Crack. The crack on the armor became bigger and bigger. Purple gold dragon blood, like a waterfall, gushed out from the crack and dyed the sky red. "Qilin armor, hurry up and come out," Qin Feiyang shouted. Hearing this, the weapon spirit immediately shouted in horror, "Boss, this is the heavenly tribulation of the inner demons. You want me to go out and die?" Qin Feiyang said angrily, "Did I ask you to face it head-on?" The weapon spirit was stunned and suddenly said, "I understand." Boom. Immediately, the Qilin armor appeared on Qin Feiyang's body, but it was not exposed outside, but under the blood-colored armor, it was close to Qin Feiyang's body. In this way, the Qilin armor did not have to face the power of thunder head-on, but only helped to share some of the pressure and protect Qin Feiyang's body. With the protection of the two divine armors, Qin Feiyang's cracked body was finally relieved a little. The purple gold dragon blood's recovery ability frantically helped to heal his wounds. However, this relief did not last long. As more and more cracks appeared on the blood-colored armor, the pressure on the Qilin armor also continued to increase. "Boss, this is not the way. When the blood-colored armor outside is broken, both of us will be finished." The weapon spirit of the Qilin armor wailed. "Hold on," Qin Feiyang shouted coldly. The weapon spirit said, Okay, I'll try my best to hold on, but you can't let me die here." "Don't worry, neither of us will die," Qin Feiyang said. Hearing this, the weapon spirit's mood finally calmed down. However, the power of thunder showed no signs of dissipating. Qin Feiyang's eyes became gloomier and gloomier. This damn heavenly tribulation, would it not stop until it killed him? Crack. More than 10 breaths passed. The blood-colored armor finally reached its limit, and with a loud bang, it fell apart. The blood-colored battle art was broken, and the Qilin armor below naturally had to bear all the pressure. Although the power of thunder had weakened after more than 10 breaths, it was still not something the Qilin armor could bear. In just a few breaths, a crack appeared on the Qilin armor. It's broken. Boss, we can't hold on. Let's retreat." The weapon spirit cried out in horror. Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and said, "Since it's broken, we'll hold on. At worst, they could give up this Qilin armor, as long as they could protect the inner demons." "Don't. Although it's broken now, it can still be repaired," the weapon spirit hurriedly said. "It can be repaired?" Qin Feiyang was stunned. "Yes. Any divine artifact with a weapon spirit has the ability to repair itself. As long as the damage is not too serious, as long as the weapon spirit is not destroyed, it can be repaired, but it will take a certain amount of time. And for a supreme-grade divine artifact like me, its repairability is naturally stronger," the weapon spirit said. "I see." Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and said with a smile, "Since it has the ability to repair itself, then all the more you should bear it for me." If the weapon spirit turned into human form now, he would definitely have a crazy expression. If he had known this, he would not have said it. Rumble. Clang. The void turned into chaos. The earth within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles was shaking violently. The power of thunder was getting weaker and weaker. But at the same time, more and more cracks appeared on the Qilin armor. It looked like it had turned into a spider web. However, compared to the Qilin armor, Qin Feiyang's physical body was more seriously injured. Because the Qilin armor was not as good as the blood-colored armor, it could only help him block half of the damage of the thunder. "Boss, it's really not going to work. If this goes on, I won't be able to repair it." After more than 10 breaths, the weapon spirit cried out again. Qin Feiyang looked down at the Qilin armor, which was already in pieces. It seemed that this supreme-grade divine artifact had indeed reached its limit. He glanced at the power of thunder around him. If it were not for the Qilin armor, he would have been torn to pieces by the power of thunder in an instant. Because even if the power of the thunder was much weaker now, it was not something that a beginner war god like him could block. "Boss, I'm really going to retreat." The weapon spirit roared. "Let's go," Qin Feiyang said. "Then what about you?" the weapon spirit asked. Qin Feiyang flashed and entered the Black Tortoise realm. Immediately, the power of thunder rushed toward the inner demons like a waterfall. Why did the young master run away halfway? Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were surprised. The Blood Kirin said, "He must have been unable to hold on, so he hid in the castle or the Black Tortoise realm." Zhao Tailai said angrily, "Don't talk nonsense. The young master is not that kind of person. When it comes to a matter of life and death, who isn't selfish? Qin Feiyang is no exception." The Blood Kirin sneered. But before it finished speaking, Qin Feiyang appeared again. The Qilin armor had disappeared, and his body was covered in blood. Seeing the power of thunder rushing toward the inner demons, Qin Feiyang's face darkened. He used the walk formula and teleported to above the inner demons. Boom! The power of thunder drowned Qin Feiyang again. Chapter 1822. This time, Qin Feiyang was not wearing any armor. Seeing this scene, Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, the Blood Kirin, and the inner demons were all shocked. Before, the two armors could not withstand the bombardment of the thunder power, let alone a body of flesh and blood. Boom! Qin Feiyang's body was instantly torn open, but at the same time, an incomparably majestic life force emerged from Qin Feiyang's body like a raging wave. Immediately, the injuries on his body were quickly healed. The Blood Kirin was surprised. How could this kid's body hide such a terrifying life force? "It's the cedar." Zhao Tailai's spirit was lifted. Yes, Tang Hai nodded. Only those tens of thousands of cedars had the ability to provide Qin Feiyang with such a huge amount of life force. The power of thunder was constantly destroying Qin Feiyang's body. The life force of the cedar was constantly repairing Qin Feiyang's body. This was equivalent to a war of attrition, the consumption of life force. If the life force of the cedar was exhausted and the power of thunder still did not disappear, then Qin Feiyang would really have no way to deal with it. Damn it! The snow python looked at Qin Feiyang in the image with a gloomy look. But Qin Yuan's eyes were full of relief. This little brat had already completely grown up. In the future, even without his help, he would be able to deal with everything. Qin Yuan withdrew his gaze and looked at the snow python with a smile. "How about it?" "Humph." The snow python snorted coldly. Qin Yuan's eyes flashed slightly and he said with a smile, "How about we make a bet?" "A bet?" The snow python looked at Qin Yuan with a trace of vigilance in its eyes. Qin Yuan said, "Let's make a bet. In the battle between Qin Feiyang and the demon ancestor, who will win and who will lose?" The snow python was slightly stunned and said playfully, "Qin Feiyang's methods are indeed amazing, but compared to the demon ancestor, it seems to be a little worse. Are you sure you want to bet?" Qin Yuan nodded. "What's the bet?" the snow python asked. Qin Yuan said, "The space-time gate in your hands." The snow python raised its eyebrows and snorted. "I knew you weren't at ease." Qin Yuan chuckled and said, "The gate of time and space wasn't yours in the first place. Moreover, this old man didn't try to take it by force. How can you say that this old man doesn't feel at ease?" He was actually mocking the snow python. This was because the snow python had forcibly snatched the gate of time and space from the Mu family. What kind of person was the snow python? How could it tell? He was rather annoyed and said, "Then what's your bet?" "Haven't you always wanted this old man's life?" "This old man will use my life as the wager." Qin Yuan smiled. The snow python narrowed its eyes. Why did this old thing suddenly become so confident? Could it be that Qin Feiyang was still hiding something? Qin Yuan said, "The opportunity was delivered in front of you, and you still don't dare to take it?" The snow python flew into a rage out of humiliation. It snorted coldly and said, "Let's bet then. Who's afraid of who?" "It's a deal then." Qin Yuan smiled. Above the demonic dragon island, the inner demons looked at Qin Feiyang, who risked his life to protect him. His heart was extremely complicated. Thinking back to the beginning, when he was just born, he was always thinking about erasing Qin Feiyang's consciousness and replacing it. Similarly, Qin Feiyang was also thinking about how to destroy the inner demons. However, he didn't expect that as time passed, their relationship gradually improved until today. They were even willing to die for each other. It was really, as the saying goes, the world was unpredictable. However, it was also because of this that the inner demons became more and more attached to everything around him. The feelings between him and Qin Feiyang were getting deeper and deeper. "Don't die, or I will blame myself for the rest of my life," the inner demons murmured. Rumble. Crack. The power of thunder was still roaring. Although the power was not as strong as before, Qin Feiyang's body still couldn't bear it. The purple-gold dragon blood was like rain, dyeing the void red. The atmosphere at the scene was extremely heavy. Zhao Tailai and Qin Yuan didn't say a word. They were silently praying for the inner demons. Time passed quietly. The life energy of the cedar was almost exhausted. Qin Feiyang's situation was getting worse and worse. The blood Kirin said angrily, "Although it is the last tribulation, it hasn't dissipated after so long. Isn't it too ridiculous?" At this time, the power of the thunder was almost at the level of a god of war. However, Qin Feiyang was now an arrow at the end of its flight. Not to mention the level of a god of war. Even the level of a god of war could threaten his life. Zhao Tai's heart was burning with anxiety. Suddenly, he turned to look at the Blood Kirin and said, "Blood Kirin, why don't you? Don't say it." The Blood Kirin glared at him. "Do you know what I'm going to say?" Zhao Tailai frowned. "Nonsense. I know what you want to do when you raise your butt." Although the power of the thunder has been reduced to the level of a god of war, in the god of war realm, there is a world of difference between each level. Although I am only a god of war, and there is only a difference of one level, the power of the thunder is enough to kill me instantly, the Blood Kirin said in a deep voice. Zhao Tailai was silent. The Blood Kirin said, "But don't worry too much. For Qin Feiyang, this might be a good opportunity." Opportunity? Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were stunned and looked at it suspiciously. "Yes. Look, now Qin Feiyang's body is being torn apart by the power of the thunder. With the help of the cedar, it is constantly being reconstructed and healed. In other words, his body is being tempered thousands of times. Then, when this tribulation is over, what will happen to his body? There will be a great change. He will become more terrifying than before. He might even be able to fight against a divine artifact with his bare hands." The Blood Kirin said. Zhao Tailai was stunned and said, "After hearing what you said, it seems to make sense." "It doesn't seem like it. It has always been like that. You have all seen how terrifying this tribulation is. If he can survive, his body will definitely reach an extremely terrifying level." The Blood Kirin said. Tang Hai said, "Although that is true, the premise is that he can survive. So, it depends on his luck." The Blood Kirin said. During the conversation, Qin Feiyang's life force was almost negligible. Obviously, the cedar's energy was about to be used up. But now, it was not over yet. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang took a deep breath and said gratefully in his mind, "Seniors, let's stop here." "Thank you." The cedar, which was hiding in his body, immediately withdrew its life force. Qin Feiyang's body was immediately bombarded by the power of the thunder and started to crack. The Demon Lord is still alive, and Mu Tianyang is still out there. How can I be defeated here? Qin Feiyang roared. 3 types of divine power surged out and crazily clashed with the power of the thunder. The bloodline power also burned and repaired his body. At this moment, the power of the thunder and lightning had almost been reduced to the level of a low-level war god. He did not need to hold on for much longer. In a few breaths, or more than 10 breaths, the situation would turn around. He gritted his teeth and persevered. The intense pain caused by the cracking of his body almost made him lose consciousness. Crack. All of a sudden, His 2 arms were shattered under the power of the thunder and lightning. This unforeseen event immediately affected the hearts of everyone present. "Young master, you must hold on." Zhao Tailai roared in his heart and clenched his hands tightly. Crack. Soon, Qin Feiyang's 2 legs were also shattered by the power of the thunder and lightning. "No, this is my tribulation. How can I let him bear it alone?" The inner demons suddenly roared and turned into a bloody light, rushing toward Qin Feiyang. At this moment, the power of the thunder and lightning had been reduced to the level of a low-level war god. "It seems that I can retreat now. I will leave the rest to the inner demons," Qin Feiyang murmured, and his consciousness fell into darkness. The rising dragon art was also immediately deactivated. Qin Feiyang's cultivation level plummeted. But at the same time, the inner demons passed through the power of the thunder and lightning and entered Qin Feiyang's body. Although the power of the thunder and lightning had been greatly reduced, the inner demons still suffered a devastating injury when they passed through. Now, the inner demons only had a little bit of consciousness left, but in his opinion, it was enough. Whoosh! The next moment, Qin Feiyang opened his eyes again. His eyes were blood red. It was obvious. At this moment, the one who controlled this body was the inner demons. The inner demons looked arrogantly at the sky and snorted, "If it weren't for me, I would have been killed by you. But now, you can't stop me. Instead, I will borrow your power to make myself stronger." Boom. Controlling Qin Feiyang's body, the inner demons once again activated the rising dragon art. Divine power surged and blood surged. The power of the thunder and lightning around was absorbed by the inner demons and tempered Qin Feiyang's body. Seeing this, Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were relieved. It seemed that the outcome was set. However, the blood Kirin looked at him angrily and shouted, "Nonsense! Nonsense! Nonsense! This is nonsense!" "What?" Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were shocked and quickly looked at the blood Kirin. The power of the thunder and lightning has indeed been reduced to that of a low-level war god. If Qin Feiyang's body wasn't injured, he would be able to withstand it easily. But now, Qin Feiyang's body is like broken glass. It can't withstand such torment. If he doesn't stop now, Qin Feiyang's body will be destroyed by him. The blood Kirin said angrily. When Zhao Tailai heard this, he raised his head and looked at the inner demons. He said, "I think the inner demons won't do anything he isn't confident in. Don't you know the inner demons? The inner demons are the embodiment of evil. What can he not do?" It is even possible that he wants to use this opportunity to kill Qin Feiyang. That way, he will be the only inner demons in the world. Qin Feiyang, the blood Kirin said in a deep voice. This, Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai looked at each other. If the inner demons were crazy, they would believe it. But if the inner demons wanted to kill Qin Feiyang, it was impossible. Don't doubt it. No matter how much the inner demons change, they can't change the nature of evil. No, we have to stop him. The blood Kirin flew into the sky and rushed toward the inner demons with a murderous aura. It didn't care about following Qin Feiyang, because Qin Feiyang had a good personality and treated his subordinates well. But the inner demons were completely different. They were selfish, iron-blooded, and ruthless. If they followed such a person, there was no telling when they would die. Genius memorized this site's address. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 1823. Old Tang, what should we do? Seeing that the blood Kirin was going to attack the inner demons, Zhao Tailai didn't know what to do. No shit. The blood Kirin doesn't trust the inner demons. Don't you trust them? Now, we have to stop the blood Kirin, Tang Hai said. Yes. The inner demons and Qin Feiyang were both very weak right now. If the blood Kirin went to cause trouble, Qin Feiyang and the inner demons would both die at the blood Kirin's hands. When Zhao Tailai heard what Tang Hai said, he pulled out his axe and shouted, "Blood Kirin, stop right now. If you don't blame me for turning against you." Tang Hai grabbed his dagger and flew toward the blood Kirin like a ghost. Are the two of you stupid? I am doing this for Qin Feiyang's sake. The blood Kirin shouted without looking back. The inner demons noticed what the blood Kirin was doing, but they weren't nervous. Instead, their eyes glowed with a bloodthirsty light. Just as the blood Kirin approached, the inner demon's eyebrows glowed red. When the red light appeared, an endless amount of murderous intent rushed toward the blood Kirin. The blood Kirin's pupils shrank. The next moment, the red light tore through the sky and left a foot-long wound on the blood Kirin's body. The Kirin's blood gushed out. This power, this speed. The blood Kirin was shocked. Could this be the scarlet grace that had crippled Sima Yuan? You came just in time. The inner demons laughed, and a red vortex appeared between his eyebrows. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew. The blood Kirin's blood flowed into Qin Feiyang's forehead. Not a single drop was left. A moment later, his body's blood became stronger. Is this the kill spell? The blood Kirin was shocked, but Qin Feiyang's eyebrows didn't have the same kill spell as before. This is the kill spell, but the kill spell has changed. Now, it is just absorbing your god blood. The inner demon smirked. The blood Kirin was angry. Why are you absorbing my god blood? Now, the Kilb incantation no longer absorbs blood to increase one's cultivation base. Instead, it transforms the blood into qi, blood, and life force. Your Qilin blood will be of great help to me right now. The blood-red hair of the inner demons fluttered. At the same time, he absorbed the Qilin's blood and converted it into qi, blood, and life force to repair his body. On the other hand, he was using the power of lightning to temper his body. Bastard! When the blood Kirin heard this, it was furious. It turned around and prepared to run. But at this moment, Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai stood behind the blood Kirin and said, "You should help the inner demons. When the young master wakes up, he will reward you greatly." Fuck. Why don't you donate the god's blood to him? The blood Kirin looked annoyed. Zhao Tailai grinned and said, "The two of us only have ordinary bloodline power. How can we compare with your Qilin blood? There's no room for discussion. Get out of my way." The blood Kirin said angrily. The inner demon smiled and looked at the blood Kirin. "If you dare to run, I will erase your soul." The blood Kirin's eyes flashed. When the inner demons reminded it, it remembered that it was under the control of a slave seal. If this had been Qin Feiyang, it would have struggled. But facing the inner demons, it didn't have the courage to do so. It just stood there and let the inner demons absorb its Qilin blood. A dozen seconds passed. The blood Kirin's eyes looked very weak. The power of lightning was almost gone. Zhao Tailai smiled and comforted it. "It will be over soon. Just hold on a little longer." "Go away." The blood Kirin looked at him angrily. "It is easy for you to say that. Why don't you try? You would have sucked me dry. You're the one who bumped into me." Zhao Tailai chuckled. "Isn't this emperor worried that he would damage Qin Feiyang's body? How is this my fault? What kind of logic is that?" The blood Kirin roared. Yes. You're a man of noble character and unquestionable integrity, a man of sincerity. Look at how Tang Hai and I admire you. It is like a surging river." Zhao Tailai smiled apologetically. "Go away. Just looking at you makes me annoyed." The blood Kirin shouted angrily. After another dozen seconds, the last trace of the power of lightning finally disappeared. The red vortex between the inner demon's eyebrows also disappeared. The blood Kirin quickly retreated and stood in the void not far away. It looked at the inner demons like a little girl who had been wronged. Its eyes were full of resentment. Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai looked at each other and were very happy. Boom. But suddenly, there was another deafening roar in the sky. Huh. Is the gods' trial not over yet? Their faces changed as they looked up at the sky. They saw that the blood clouds in the sky were rolling more violently than before. A mysterious aura fell from the sky like a waterfall and shrouded the inner demons. The inner demons left Qin Feiyang's body and shouted at Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai, "Go and heal me." Qin Feiyang's consciousness had fallen into a coma. Therefore, when the inner demon left the physical body immediately fell downward. Okay. Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai, who were still in shock, nodded at the inner demons and swooped down. They held Qin Feiyang and landed on the broken ground. Zhao Tailai took out a healing pill and a regeneration pill and stuffed it into Qin Feiyang's mouth. Then, he and Tang Hai looked up at the sky again. The blood clouds rolled as if a more terrible god's trial was brewing. But the inner demon's emotions were fluctuating. They were not afraid at all. Instead, they were very excited. Don't worry. The blood Kirin flashed and landed next to Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai. The two looked at it suspiciously. That's the reward for successfully passing the god's trial. Only by obtaining that reward can the inner demon completely condense a physical body. The blood Kirin pouted. It seemed that the blood Kirin was very unhappy with the inner demons. However, he couldn't be blamed. If it were anyone else, they would definitely be unhappy after encountering such a situation. Buzz. Not long after the blood Kirin finished speaking, the blood clouds in the sky slowly split open. A blood-red divine light emerged from the crack and fell toward the inner demons. Although the blood-red divine light did not have a terrifying destructive power, it had a mysterious aura. It gave people the feeling that it contained some kind of unknown power of law. The inner demons did not dodge. The blood-red divine light fell and immediately drowned the inner demons. The inner demons immediately began to absorb the blood-red divine light. The blood clouds in the sky gradually receded. In less than 100 breaths, the sky above Demon Dragon Island was covered by dark clouds again. The blood Kirin said, "The god's trial is over. Now, we just need to wait for the inner demons to form a body. Then, we will be done." Phew. Tang Hai and the other two heaved a sigh of relief. Zhao Tailai laid Qin Feiyang flat on the ground. Then, he squatted next to him and carefully examined Qin Feiyang's injuries. The blood Kirin looked at the unconscious Qin Feiyang. Then, it looked at Tang Hai and Zhao Tailai and said, "You two, we are in the same boat now. Can you be honest with me?" Tang Hai put away his dagger and ignored the blood Kirin. He turned and looked southeast. He was wondering if the Demon Alpha and Sima Kuan had moved to Modu. Zhao Tailai looked at the blood Kirin suspiciously and asked, "Be honest with what?" The blood Kirin said angrily, "Don't play dumb. I am asking about the Scarlet Flash." "Scarlet Flash," Zhao Tailai muttered and smiled. "You can ask the young master yourself when he wakes up." The blood Kirin was annoyed and said, "Okay, let's not talk about the Scarlet Flash. What about the scarlet armor? Where did it come from?" Zhao Tailai was hesitant. Okay. Don't talk about it." "I know. You will definitely ask me to ask Qin Feiyang later." The blood Kirin waved its claws and said helplessly. Zhao Tailai grinned and continued to examine Qin Feiyang's injuries. Swoosh. After a while, in the sky, the blood-red light gradually disappeared. The inner demons also gradually appeared. At this moment, there was no weakness between his eyebrows. Instead, there was an extremely terrifying aura. Moreover, the consciousness that had been destroyed by the heavenly tribulation had been completely restored. When the last trace of the blood-red light was absorbed into the inner demon's body, a monstrous power exploded. At the same time, a huge amount of blood rushed out of his body. Only people who had a physical body could have blood. This meant that the inner demons had formed a physical body and was no longer a body of consciousness. Right now, he was a man of flesh and blood. His blood-red hair was flying. His eyes also seemed to be condensed out of blood. His 7-foot body was like the ruler of this world. He looked extremely majestic. But at this moment, he stood in the void, raised his arm, and looked at the skin on his hand. There was no joy in his expression, but it wasn't that he wasn't happy. It was just that he couldn't get used to it for a while. Was this a physical body with flesh and blood? He didn't have to hide in the inner world anymore, and he didn't have to compete with his original body. Before he had it, he was extremely eager. But after he really had it, he felt a little unreal, as if he was dreaming. "Am I dreaming?" the inner demons murmured. Suddenly, he raised his arm and pinched his face very hard. Pain. Extreme pain. It wasn't a dream. Now, he really had a physical body that belonged to him. Haha. He laughed loudly. His eyes were filled with a mist of tears. For him, there was nothing more important and happy than having a physical body. "I am no longer that disgusting inner demons. I am now a real person." The inner demons roared into the sky, and a terrifying divine power rolled out, drowning in all directions. Whoosh! Following closely, he swooped down, swept into the distance, and punched the ground. Boom! Crack! The ground collapsed, and ditches appeared everywhere. Thick dust and smoke covered the sky and the earth. The Blood Kirin looked at the inner demons and frowned. Is he crazy? I believe that the inner demons in this world, no matter who condenses a physical body, will be like this. Give him some time. Zhao Tailai laughed. Tang Hai suddenly asked, Old Zhao, how is the young master's injury? Zhao Tailai immediately frowned and said in a deep voice, although his life is not in danger, it will take at least half a month for him to fully recover. How can half a month be enough? The demon ancestor only needs 3 days to fuse with the divine body. If we wait for Qin Feiyang to recover from his injuries, the demon ancestor would have killed all the people of the great Qin Empire. The Blood Kirin said. Chapter 1824. He wants to kill everyone in the Qin kingdom? Zhao Tailai was shocked. Although I am exaggerating, for sure none of the people of the Qin clan will escape. The demon Alpha's goal is not just to rule the Qin kingdom. He wants to rule the entire forgotten continent. The Blood Kirin said in a low voice. Tang Hai sighed. If that day comes, the people of the 2 continents will be destroyed. That's right. With the demon Alpha's personality, he won't treat the people of the 2 continents as well as Qin Feiyang. The Blood Kirin nodded. When Zhao Tailai heard this, he realized how serious the problem was. He said, if the young master hadn't fainted and entered the castle, he would have been able to recover quickly. But now, speaking of this, he frowned. How about later? The Blood Kirin was shocked. He said, aren't you exaggerating? This emperor has also heard of the ancient castle's time array. It seems that 1 day is equal to 10 days. It is different now, Zhao Tailai said. Different? The Blood Kirin was shocked. Yes. The castle used to have a seal. After I became a war god, the second seal of the castle was automatically unlocked. The time rules changed. Before, 1 day was 10 days. Now, 1 day is 1 year. Zhao Tailai said, what? The change is that big? The Blood Kirin was shocked. Yes, but remember not to tell anyone about this. After all, it is too shocking. Zhao Tailai warned. I understand. The Blood Kirin nodded and started to think. 1 day was 1 year. 10 days was 10 years. 100 days was 100 years. In other words, cultivating in the castle for 100 years was only slightly more than 3 months in the outside world. This time difference was scary. It seemed that following Qin Feiyang was a good thing. Suddenly, the Blood Kirin seemed to think of something. He said in surprise, wait, you said there was a second seal. Does that mean there is a third seal?
Yes.
Zhao Tailai nodded. When the third seal is unlocked, will 1 day be 10 years? Or even 1 day be 100 years? The Blood Kirin was shocked. We will have to wait until the third seal is unlocked. Zhao Tailai said. Even Qin Feiyang doesn't know? The Blood Kirin frowned. Zhao Tailai nodded. I'm looking forward to it. The Blood Kirin's eyes looked bright. He was planning to kill Demon Alpha and enter the castle. He would never come out again. With such a good opportunity, he definitely needed to go into seclusion and cultivate properly. Let's save this nonsense for later. Think about it first. How can we send Qin Feiyang to the castle to recuperate? Tang Hai looked at Zhao Tailai and the Blood Kirin impatiently. The Blood Kirin was silent for a moment, and then it said, you can find the inner demons. He and Qin Feiyang are one. They can enter the castle. It used to be possible, but now, Tang Hai frowned. Now that the inner demons had formed their own physical bodies, they could no longer enter and leave the castle freely. Did you think that just because I condensed a physical body, I would completely cut off my relationship with my true self? The inner demons broke through the air. Their blood-red eyes were like 2 seas of blood, striking fear into the hearts of those who looked at them. Isn't that the case? Tang Hai asked. Whether I have a physical body or not, I was born because of my true self. The bond between me and him can never be cut off. After the inner demon said that, a divine seal appeared in front of them. This is divine dragon seal. Tang Hai was shocked. That's right. The inner demons nodded. This divine seal was different from the divine dragon seal. Everyone knew that the divine dragon seal was purple gold, but the divine seal in front of the inner demons was blood red and had a murderous aura. But it was certain that this was the divine dragon seal, because the aura it exuded was no different from a perfect divine skill. Tang Hai swallowed and said, "So, you know everything that my true self knows?" "Of course. Didn't you see Emperor Hong and his inner demons? As long as Emperor Hong grasps a technique, Heart Demon Hong can also grasp it." The inner demons said, "What about the war soul?" Tang Hai asked. "Of course. In short, although I have condensed a physical body, my true self and I are still the same person. We can communicate telepathically and share everything." After the inner demon said that, the divine dragon seal dissipated. Then, with a wave of his hand, the unconscious Qin Fei Yang teleported and disappeared. Share everything. Tang Hai and Zhao Tailai looked at each other. Now, wasn't it equivalent to there being two Qin Fei Yang? And there were two Qin Fei Yang, who were exactly the same in terms of means and strength. One Qin Fei Yang was terrifying enough, let alone two Qin Fei Yang. Now, even if the demon ancestor fused with his divine body, he might not be a match for Qin Fei Yang and the inner demons. Zhao Tailai asked curiously, "If you are separated by two continents, can you and the young master still communicate telepathically and share everything?" "Yes. For example, if my true self is in the Great Qin and I am in the Forgotten Continent, we can still communicate telepathically, or if I get a new divine technique, after I cultivate it, my true self can also have it directly." The inner demon said. It seemed that he was in a good mood. Otherwise, with his personality, he would not explain so much to everyone. Unheard of. Zhao Tailai was secretly speechless. He chuckled and said, "Suddenly, I want an inner demons too." "You? Even if I give you an inner demons, you won't be able to help him pass the tribulation," the inner demon said disdainfully. Zhao Tailai smiled bitterly. This was really a blow to him. Tang Hai said, "Then, is your and the young master's cultivation realm the same as before? For example, if the young master is a beginner war god, you can only be a beginner war god too?" "That's indeed the case, but it's different from before. In the past, my cultivation realm was determined by my true self's cultivation realm. In other words, my cultivation realm is the same as my true self's cultivation realm. But now, I, who have a physical body, can also cultivate. Moreover, my true self can also share the results of my cultivation. For example, if I break through to the beginner war god, my true self will also break through to the beginner war god. Similarly, if my true self breaks through to the beginner war god, I will also break through to the beginner war god." The inner demon said. Zhao Tailai said, "Can I understand it this way? In the future, you and the young master only need one person to cultivate, and the other person can go sightseeing, and his cultivation will continue to grow stronger?" "That's right. And if my true self and I cultivate in seclusion together, it's equivalent to two people cultivating at the same time. Our speed will be even faster." The inner demon said. Zhao Tailai smiled bitterly. "If we become so abnormal, how are we going to live in the future? So, you have to work hard. Don't be left too far behind by my true self and me. Otherwise, you will be abandoned by us like trash." The inner demons laughed. "There are two of you, and we are only one. No matter how hard we work, we can't compare to you." Zhao Tailai was helpless. You really believe his nonsense? If the young master would abandon us, then Fatso and the white-eyed wolf would have been abandoned a long time ago. Tang Hai rolled his eyes at Zhao Tailai. "That's right." Zhao Tailai scratched his head. The white-eyed wolf and Fatso could no longer help the young master. But now, weren't they still staying in the castle? They even regarded their safety as more important than their own lives. So, there was no need to worry about this at all. As long as they didn't betray the young master would never abandon them. The inner demons glanced at Tang Hai with a displeased expression. They wanted to scare Zhao Tailai, but they didn't expect this guy to expose them on the spot. How boring. Zhao Tailai looked at the inner demons and asked, then, should we call you now? Nonsense. Of course, call me master, the inner demons said. Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, and the blood Kirin looked at each other with dissatisfaction. Qin Feiyang didn't let them call him master. What right did the inner demons have? What? You don't agree? The inner demons glared, and a terrifying murderous aura rushed toward the two men and the beast. No, no. Zhao Tailai hurriedly waved his hand and wondered, Master, since everything can be shared, can you and the young master also transfer artifacts like the castle to each other across 2 continents? No, the inner demons said. No? Zhao Tailai was surprised. Yes, because artifacts are physical objects. They can't be transferred to each other through the mind and thoughts. But if I'm with my real body, then we can use each other's artifacts as we wish, the inner demon said. Zhao Tailai said, in other words, as long as it's a physical object, it can't be transferred to each other across space? Yes, the inner demon nodded. Then, she lifted the corner of her mouth and said playfully, but do you think we still need divine artifacts now? Zhao Tailai was shocked. He smiled wryly and said, we don't need them. Why don't we need artifacts? A powerful artifact would be like adding wings to a tiger for us. The blood Kirin was confused. The inner demons looked at the blood Kirin and said, then tell me, how do the red terror and the red armor compare to the dragon tattoo sword and the Kirin armor? Of course, it's better than the Kirin armor and the dragon tattoo sword. The blood Kirin didn't even think about it, but after that, he looked shocked. He quickly said, wait, what do you mean? Are Crimson Cry and Crimson Armor not divine weapons? The inner demon smiled but didn't say anything. The blood Kirin saw this and looked at Tang Hai and Zhao Tailai. The two of them turned their heads away from the blood Kirin, ignoring it completely. Are you guys interested? Do you think of me as your friend? The blood Kirin asked angrily. He had thought that the Scarlet Grace and the Scarlet Battle Armor were 2 terrifying divine artifacts that had surpassed supreme-grade divine artifacts. They might even be overpowered artifacts. However, he did not expect that the truth was not what he had imagined at all. Bastards! Bastards! You don't think of me as your friend? Okay, you guys are good. I'm going to leave now. Let's see which one of you will deal with Sima Kuan. Seeing the inner demons ignore him, the blood Kirin was furious. He pretended to turn around and leave. However, when it turned its head to look, it realized that inner demon and the other 2 had no intention of stopping it. Am I really leaving? The blood Kirin roared. The 3 of them didn't hear him. The blood Kirin was furious. He turned around and glared at the inner demons, gnashing his teeth. Chapter 1825. Of course, it didn't dare to leave. It was just pretending. After all, it had betrayed the Demon Alpha. Without Qin Feiyang's protection, the Demon Alpha would definitely seek revenge. However, Inner Demon and the other 2's disregard for it really annoyed it. They treated it like an outsider. Swoosh. At this time, Qin Feiyang appeared without warning. The injuries on his body had healed. His aura was extremely terrifying. The blood Kirin was shocked again. How long had it been? His injuries had all healed, and his essence, qi, and spirit had returned to peak condition. This was the current castle? That was too scary. Zhao Tailai was also very happy. He immediately went forward and asked, Young master, did your body change? Qin Feiyang raised his arm and felt the violent power in his arm. He smiled and said, It shouldn't be a problem for me to crush a mid-grade divine weapon with my bare hands. Zhao Tailai's eyes trembled. He was confident that he could crush a mid-grade divine weapon with his bare hands. How shocking! Qin Feiyang lowered his arm and looked at the blood Kirin with a smile. The Crimson Armor and Crimson Grace are indeed not divine weapons. They are not divine weapons. The blood Kirin was stunned and said in surprise, If they are not divine weapons, then what are they? They are formed by a divine art. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He didn't explain further. He turned to the inner demons and said, Congratulations. It's all because of you. The inner demons laughed. Qin Feiyang smiled and said, With you here, I have more confidence in dealing with the Demon Alpha. But now, you can't show up. I want to give the demon Alpha a surprise. That's what I was thinking, the inner demon said. Qin Feiyong waved his hand, and the inner demons immediately went to the castle. The blood Kirin came back to his senses and asked, Qin Feiyong, what divine art is this? Is it so scary? You don't know what's good for you. The young master didn't explain. Obviously, he didn't want to say more. Why are you still pestering him? Zhao Tailai looked at the blood Kirin angrily. The blood Kirin looked angry. I didn't ask you. Why are you interrupting? The anger in Zhao Tailai's heart surged. All right. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's go to that canyon and see if Shanghai has moved. Qin Feiyong looked toward the southeast, his eyes flashing with a cold light. It would be best if Emodu hadn't moved. If they moved, they would have to wait for the demon ancestor to fuse with his divine body and fight him head-on. Although the demon ancestor had a heaven-defying divine artifact, he also had the help of the inner demons. In the end, between him and the demon ancestor, it was hard to say who would die on Demon Dragon Island. In the southeast, mountains rose and fell one after another. A huge canyon was located in the mountains. From afar, it looked like a giant beast lurking in the dark land. That was right. This was the canyon that Yanwei had mentioned. Whoosh! Qin Feiyong and the others flew through the air like lightning. They stood above the canyon and didn't hide. They released their divine consciousness and searched every corner of the canyon. The demon ancestor knew that they already knew where Shanghai was, so there was no need to hide. Suddenly, Zhao Tailai's eyes flashed. He said, Young master, I found a cave. It should be the place that Yanwei mentioned. Take us there, Qin Feiyong said. Zhao Tailai nodded. He turned into a stream of light and flew down the canyon. Qin Feiyong, Tang Hai, and the blood Kirin followed closely behind. After a while, the three people and one beast entered the depths of the canyon. They stood in the void and looked at the cliff in front of them. On top of the cliff, there was a small cave entrance. The hole was only 2 or 3 meters in diameter. It was pitch black inside. Qin Feiyong said, according to Yanwei, there is a strand of the demon ancestor's murderous intent in the cave. If it is here, we have to be careful. It is just a strand of murderous intent. As long as we are prepared, it will not be a threat to us. The blood Kirin smiled disdainfully and stepped into the cave first. Boom! Immediately, a terrifying murderous intent appeared. It is here. Zhao Tailai's eyes trembled. He immediately took out his axe and prepared to fight. Qin Feiyong stared at the cave. His eyes were shining. Blood Kirin, how dare you betray me? After the murderous intent appeared, an angry shout sounded in the cave. That's right. It was the demon ancestor's voice. Betray? If it wasn't for the blood soul technique, do you think I would have worked for you for so many years? The blood Kirin's disdainful voice sounded. Then, the blood Kirin's ferocious power exploded. Immediately, with a deafening sound, the entire canyon collapsed. Whoosh! The next moment, the blood Kirin rushed out of the dust and smoke. It looked at Qin Feiyong and said, the murderous intent has been resolved. But I didn't find Emodu in the cave. I think he has moved. I didn't expect the demon ancestor to be so cowardly. Zhao Tailai snorted. Before the divine body fuses, he will not fight us head-on. Let's wait. Qin Feiyong smiled. Tang Hai suddenly said, Young master, there is a problem. I don't know if you have thought about it. What problem? Qin Feiyong was suspicious. The demon ancestor needs 3 days to fuse with the divine body because he doesn't have a time array. But Mu Tianyang's space treasure has a time array, Tang Hai said. Mu Tianyang. Qin Feiyong narrowed his eyes. Yes, young master. Mu Tianyang's space treasure has a time array. Then he doesn't need 3 days to fuse with Mu Tianyang's divine body? Zhao Tailai said in surprise. I have thought about this. Although Mu Tianyang has a space treasure, his divine soul has not been successfully condensed. Moreover, when we fought at the divine site, he used up a lot of his divine sense. In other words, not only does he need time to fuse with the divine body, but he also needs time to condense his divine soul. So we don't have to worry too much. Besides, It's useless to worry because we can't spare any manpower to go to the Forgotten Continent to support him, Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Tailai asked, then your great-grandmother and the others. I think they will have a way. Do you know anything about your great-grandmother? She is cunning and scheming. Without full confidence, she will definitely not fight Mu Tianyang head-on. Let's focus on dealing with the demon ancestor. After we get rid of the demon ancestor, we will go to the Forgotten Continent to support him, Qin Feiyang said. Cunning and scheming? Scheming and scheming? Zhao Tailai was speechless. How could anyone describe their great-grandmother like that? Fortunately, Tantai was not present. Otherwise, she would definitely flip out. In fact, it's all the snow python's fault. If it didn't remove the time and space gate, we could take care of both sides, Tang Hai said. What can we do? After all, it is the guardian of the Forgotten Continent and is a half-step divine lord. Even if it wants to deal with us openly, we can only watch. But what I don't understand is why it disappeared for no reason in the glacier forest. Zhao Tailai frowned, his face full of suspicion. There is nothing in the world without a reason. I think there must be a reason, but we just don't know, Qin Feiyang said. The Blood Kirin pondered for a while and said, according to my guess, it is very likely that Qin Yuan is restraining it. Uncle Yuan? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes, because in today's world, only Qin Yuan has the ability to restrain the snow python, the Blood Kirin said. Uncle Yuan, Qin Feiyang murmured, scanning the void. If it was really Uncle Yuan, then Uncle Yuan must be somewhere now watching him. Demon Tower. Yanwei and Jiang Jingyi really didn't have any other thoughts. They just focused on monitoring Lin Yi. During this time, Lin Yi didn't have any abnormalities. The Flame King came back once, but after reporting the truth to Lin Yi, he left the Demon Tower. As for where he was now, Yanwei and Jiang Jingyi didn't know either. He might be guarding outside the Demon Tower, or he might be looking for them in Demon City. Just like that, time passed quietly. Suddenly, a buzzing sound sounded. Jiang Jingyi was shocked and quickly took out the image crystal. Buzz. The next moment, a sweet-looking woman appeared in the void in front. The woman was about 20 years old, wearing a red dress with 3 words embroidered on it. Heavenly Treasure Pavilion. Who is she? Yanwei glanced at the woman suspiciously and asked Jiang Jingyi. Jiang Jingyi smiled and said, I think you should be able to guess her identity. When Yanwei heard it, he turned his head and looked at the woman in red in surprise. Suddenly, he seemed to think of something and said respectfully, Subordinate Yanwei greets the mistress. Yanwei? The woman was slightly taken aback. She looked at Jiang Jingyi and said, What's going on? Didn't Brother Yin seek refuge with the State Preceptor? He followed the State Preceptor to Demon City, but not long ago, his identity was accidentally exposed. I saved him, Jiang Jingyi said. Qin Feiyang's mother was shocked and said quickly, Then your identity. Jiang Jingyi shook his head and said, My identity hasn't been exposed yet, but what? Qin Feiyang's mother asked. Nothing. Jiang Jingyi shook his head. He originally wanted to say that he and Yanwei were in the Demon Pagoda, but after thinking about it, he decided to continue hiding it. Jiang Jingyi asked suspiciously, Why did you send me a message? Qin Feiyang's mother looked at the two of them in confusion and said in a deep voice, I found out about the location of Demon City. What? Jiang Jingyi and Yanwei looked at each other, and their faces were filled with ecstasy. This was really great news. How did you find out? Jiang Jingyi was curious, but his face suddenly changed and he asked in surprise, Did you go to the Demon Palace? I didn't go to the Demon Palace. Qin Feiyang's mother shook her head. What is the Demon Palace? Yanwei looked at the two of them in confusion. The Demon Palace is the palace where the demon ancestor is in seclusion. Demon City is divided into 3 major districts, the Outer City, the Inner City, and the Demon Palace. The Demon Palace is inside the Demon Palace, located in the center of Demon City. It is equivalent to the residence of the Great Qin Empire's emperor. In the entire Demon City, only the war gods under the demon ancestor are qualified to enter. Wait, didn't you come from the Demon Palace? Why don't you know about this? Jiang Jingyi was suspicious. Yanwei nodded and said with a smile, Although we stayed in the Demon Palace for a while, Sima Kuan didn't explain the situation of Demon City to me and the State Preceptor. In that case, the State Preceptor has never been to Demon City before. Jiang Jingyi smiled and looked at Qin Feiyang's mother. He frowned and said, "Since you didn't go to the Demon Palace, how did you know about the location of Demon City?" Chapter 1826. I heard about it by accident. Previously, Black Devil King and King Tianwu came to the Sky Treasure Pavilion. I brought them tea. When I entered the room, I heard them talking about it. Qin Feiyang's mother said, "I see." Jiang Zhengyi was enlightened, and they were still talking about how they couldn't contact Sima Yuan. They suspected that something might have happened to Sima Yuan. And this matter is related to Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's mother said again. Jiang Zhengyi said calmly, "I heard about it too. Feiyang seems to have killed his way to Demon Dragon Island." He didn't dare to say that he had already contacted Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang's mother said, "That's why I immediately sent the news to you. Think of a way to pass it to Feiyang immediately." Okay. Jiang Zhengyi nodded. Qin Feiyang's mother said, "Demon Capital's current location is in a place called the Dead Sea in the northeast. I'll think of a way to tell Feiyang immediately. You have to be careful too. Don't expose yourself." Jiang Zhengyi warned. "I know." Qin Feiyang's mother nodded, and the shadow immediately disappeared. "Brother Yin, look, even the heavens are helping us. Demon Ancestor will be destroyed." Jiang Zhengyi laughed. Yin Wei was also full of smiles as he urged, "Hurry up and contact your daughter." In the canyon, Qin Feiyang stood in the void, resting with his eyes closed. Next to him, Tang Hai, Zhao Tailai, and the Blood Kirin were also silent. "Feiyang, Yin Wei and father sent news. Demon Capital is now in a place called the Dead Sea in the northeast." Suddenly, Luo Qingzhu's voice rang in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang quivered. He opened his eyes, and two bright lights burst out of them. "What's wrong?" Zhao Tailai, Tang Hai, and the Blood Kirin noticed the change in Qin Feiyang's expression and were surprised. Qin Feiyang looked at the Blood Kirin and asked, "Do you know the Dead Sea?" "Dead Sea?" The Blood Kirin was shocked. It nodded and said, "Yes." "Why?" "Take us there immediately," Qin Feiyang said. "All right." The Blood Kirin waved its claws. It took Qin Feiyang and the others with it and headed northeast. "Young master, why are you suddenly going to the ocean of death?" Zhao Tailai was suspicious. Qin Feiyang said excitedly, "Yin Wei and the others sent news that Shanghai is now in the Dead Sea." This, Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai looked at each other. These two people were quite capable. They actually managed to find out about Shanghai's transfer location so quickly. "Qing Zhu, did Yin Wei and your father say how they found out?" Qin Feiyang asked secretly. "No." Luo Qingzhu's voice sounded. As for Qin Feiyang's mother, Yin Wei and Jiang Zhengyi chose to keep it a secret from everyone. There was indeed a body of water in the northeast. The water was calm, and there was no aura of any creatures. It was very vast. The diameter of the body of water alone was estimated to be hundreds of thousands of miles. So, it was not an exaggeration to call it the Dead Sea. Whoosh! Suddenly, a few streams of light broke through the air like lightning. It was Qin Feiyang, the other two, and the Blood Kirin. However, on the way here, they all hid their auras. This was to avoid alerting the enemy. The Blood Kirin stopped above a mountain ridge and scanned the body of water in front of it. It said, "The Dead Sea is ahead." "So big?" Qin Feiyang frowned. He thought that the Dead Sea on the island could not be big. It was at most tens of thousands of miles. However, he did not expect the Dead Sea to be so big. Before coming to Demon Dragon Island, I said that Demon Dragon Island is very big. Two imperial capitals combined are not as big as it. It is not strange that there is such a large body of water on the island, the Blood Kirin said. Zhao Tailai scanned the body of water and frowned. Yin Wei and Jiang Zhengyi did not tell us the specific location. The Dead Sea is so big. Looking for a space item that is like looking for a needle in a haystack is like looking for a needle in a haystack. In this situation, it is already very good that the two of them were able to find out that Mo Du is in the Dead Sea. You want the specific location? Dream on. Tang Hai rolled his eyes at Zhao Tai Lai. No matter what, we have to find Emodu. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed. He looked at the blood Kirin and asked, did Emodu fuse with the hidden soul stone? No. The blood Kirin shook its head. Not before, but that does not mean it is not now. Zhao Tai Lai frowned. If Emodu had fused with the hidden soul stone, they would not be able to find it even if they searched the entire Dead Sea. Not now. I am sure. The blood Kirin said. How do you know? Zhao Tai Lai looked at it suspiciously. That's because the ancestor demon only had a single hidden soul stone. As for that hidden soul stone, he gave it to Sima Yuan. Now that Sima Yuan died in our hands, where is he going to find the hidden soul stone? The blood Kirin laughed. That is good. Zhao Tai Lai nodded. Qin Feiyang turned to Tang Hai and said, Tang Hai, I asked you to keep an eye on Sima Yuan. Did you take his hidden soul stone? Tang Hai said, at that time, we seized it immediately, along with his Qinkuan bag. Then why didn't you give it to the young master? Zhao Tai Lai looked at Tang Hai suspiciously. Suddenly, he smiled evilly and said, tell us honestly, are you trying to fill your own pockets? Tang Hai stared at Zhao Tai Lai. It looks like I was right. Zhao Tai Lai laughed evilly. He turned to look at Qin Feiyang and said angrily, young master, we cannot let this kind of person live. Get rid of him. Tang Hai was shocked, and then he said angrily, old Zhao, do you think I won't kill you? What? You think it's reasonable to fill your own pockets? Zhao Tai Lai snorted. Who said I was filling my own pockets? At that time, the inner demons were at a critical moment of their trial. I just forgot. Tang Hai said. Zhao Tai Lai pursed his lips and looked at Qin Feiyang. Young master, this must be an excuse. The anger in Tang Hai's heart suddenly surged. Qin Feiyang smiled helplessly and looked at Zhao Tai Lai. Don't tease him. If you make him angry, he might really turn against you. I just like to see him anxious. Zhao Tai Lai chuckled. You like to see me angry, huh? Okay, just you wait. I will kill you sooner or later. Tang Hai smiled sinisterly as he took out a Qinkuan bag and a black thumb ring from his bosom. The thumb ring was made of hidden soul stone. Qin Feiyang took the Cosmos bag and sent it to the castle for Dan Wangkai to deal with. Then, he looked at the thumb ring and said to Tang Hai, keep this thumb ring, just in case. Tang Hai looked at Zhao Tai Lai proudly. It's just a hidden soul stone. What is there to be proud of? Zhao Tai Lai snorted. Okay, let's get down to business. Zhao Tai Lai, you follow me? Tang Hai, you follow the blood Kirin. Let's split up and find them. Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Tai Lai and Tang Hai had just become war gods. Qin Feiyang was worried about letting them act alone. The two men and one beast nodded. Qin Feiyang took out the dragon vein sword and the Kirin armor. He said, you two follow the blood Kirin and Tang Hai. You must protect them. The Kirin armor was still broken, but it could protect Tang Hai and the blood Kirin at a critical moment. Whoosh! When the two supreme-grade sacred artifacts heard this, they immediately flew into the blood Kirin's body. This was because the Kirin divine blood could help repair the Kirin armor. The blood Kirin was also very excited. These were two supreme-grade sacred artifacts. Even if it encountered Sima Kuan now, it would not be afraid. Let's go, Qin Feiyang shouted. Whoosh! The three men and one beast immediately released their divine consciousness and began a thorough search of the Dead Sea. After a while, Tang Hai and the blood Kirin disappeared from Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai's sight. Without the hidden soul stone, no matter how small or hidden Emodu became, their divine consciousness would be able to find it. In the blink of an eye, half an hour passed. Suddenly, Qin Feiyang was stunned. A look of surprise appeared in his eyes. Did you find it? Zhao Tai Lai asked. No, but I found something even more incredible, Qin Feiyang said. What is it? Zhao Tai Lai was surprised. Follow me. After Qin Feiyang said that, he swooped down into the Dead Sea and went straight to the bottom of the sea. Zhao Tai Lai followed behind him, his expression full of vigilance. Although in the Dead Sea, or even the entire demonic Dragon Island, they did not sense the aura of any creatures, this was the lair of the demonic ancestor after all. There was no guarantee that something unexpected would happen. The Dead Sea was not very deep. The two quickly reached the bottom of the sea. What entered their sight was a stretch of underwater mountains and rivers. They could not see the end of it. Qin Feiyang led Zhao Tailai into a small valley. The moment they entered the valley, Zhao Tailai's eyes widened in disbelief. In the middle of the small valley, there was a blood-colored altar. The two of them landed beside the altar and sized it up. Their eyes were filled with amazement. Zhao Tailai asked suspiciously, "Young master, why is there an altar here?" Qin Feiyang also had a look of confusion on his face. But suddenly, he remembered what the fire python had said to him before leaving the divine site. The fire python had told him that there was an altar hidden in the reincarnation ocean that could lead to the divine site. Could it be this altar in front of him? Thinking of this, Qin Feiyang quivered and quickly looked at Zhao Tailai, saying, "Quickly, let's revive it together." The fire python had also said that the altar that led to the divine site required at least 10 beginner gods of war to revive. If he and Zhao Tailai could not revive now, then this must be the altar that the fire python had mentioned. On the contrary, if it could be revived, then it was not. Okay, Zhao Tailai nodded. The two's divine power rolled out and poured into the blood-colored altar. The altar immediately emitted a blood-colored light. It can be revived? Qin Feiyang was surprised. If it could be revived, then where did this altar lead to? The imperial capital? The 9 continents? The forgotten continent? But thinking about it, it did not make sense. If there was really an altar that led to the imperial capital, the 9 continents, and the forgotten continent, the blood Kirin should have told him long ago. However, as time passed, the blood-colored altar in front of them did not completely revive. It was still in its initial state. Realizing this, Qin Feiyang's spirits were lifted. If it was not completely revived, it meant that he and Zhao Tailai could not revive it. In other words, this should be the entrance to the divine site. Chapter 1827. He didn't expect to find the entrance to the divine site while searching for Magic City. How could Qin Feiyang not be excited? Zhao Tailai retracted his divine power and looked at Qin Feiyang suspiciously. "Young master, from your expression, does this altar have a special meaning?" "Yes, because this altar leads to the divine site," Qin Feiyang said. "What?" Zhao Tailai's body trembled as he looked at the altar in surprise again. "Leads to the divine site. How is this possible? Isn't there only one entrance to the divine site?" Zhao Tailai came back to his senses and looked at Qin Feiyang, asking, "Who told you this?" "Fire Python," Qin Feiyang said. Zhao Tailai asked suspiciously, "When did it say this? Why don't I know about it?" Qin Feiyang said, "When the battle in the Land of Legacy ended, didn't the fire python come to me?" Zhao Tailai nodded. "It said it at that time." Later, the golden divine leopard and I entered the ancient world to ask for soul stones from the Gua family. The fire python told me that it would take 10 war gods to revive this altar. So, only the golden divine leopard and I know about this. Qin Feiyang said. "I see." Zhao Tailai nodded and said with a smile, "Since the fire python said it, it must be true. However, this is too unexpected. This altar is actually on demonic Dragon Island?" "Yes. I never expected this either." Qin Feiyang sighed. "Wait. Since the altar is on demonic Dragon Island, the demon ancestor must know about it. The demon ancestor has so many war gods under him. When we fought with Zhuge Mingyang and the others in the Land of Legacy, why didn't he let Sima Yuan and the others in to help?" Zhao Tailai was suspicious. There's no need for that. After all, Zhuge Mingyang and the others can also snatch the sarcophagus with their abilities. If Sima Yuan and the others are allowed to enter, it will expose his foundation too early. Of course, it might be related to the guardian of the divine site. Under normal circumstances, this altar shouldn't be allowed to pass through. And if you force your way in, no matter what, the guardians of the miracle will be able to sense it. The fiend ancestor must be afraid that the guardians will cause trouble for him. Although the fiend ancestor's foundation is terrifying, it's still far from a miracle. Qin Feiyang smiled. "That's true. Let's not talk about the guardians being able to control the nomological forces. Just the divine beasts on the second level are enough to make the fiend ancestor tremble in fear. Zhao Tailai said. Not bad. However, we are different from the fiend ancestor. Right now, the guardian of the miracle is the fire python. We have such a good relationship with the fire python. Even if it discovers us, it doesn't matter. Besides, it can't wait for me to return to the divine sight as soon as possible. Qin Feiyang smiled. Zhao Tailai frowned. Did it ask you to go to the miracle again? Yes. The fire dragon is on the third floor of the miracle. It can't take revenge, so it asked me to help it. Qin Feiyang said. It turns out that it has a purpose. Zhao Tailai pouted. This is not called a purpose. It's called mutual benefit. It took care of us in the miracle, so it's natural for us to help it. Qin Feiyang smiled. Zhao Tailai nodded. This is undeniable. Without its help, forget about going to the ancient world to find the soul stone. It's hard to say if we would have been able to come out of the miracle alive. So, a person must know how to be grateful. Qin Feiyang smiled. Boom. Before his voice died away, a loud, muffled sound suddenly exploded in the sea. What's going on? Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai glanced around. The calm sea gradually began to roll. Zhao Tailai was surprised. Did the blood Kirin and Tang Hai find Modu? Let's go. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and swept Zhao Tailai up. He swept toward the sea without looking back. Soon, the two swept out of the Dead Sea and stood high in the sky, scanning in all directions. Boom. After about a few breaths, another loud explosion occurred. Without the sound insulation of the sea, it was several times louder than before. It could be said to be deafening, and it resounded over the entire Dead Sea. They could even clearly feel the fluctuations of a battle. Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai immediately looked to the east of the Dead Sea, because the loud noise came from the east. Zhao Tailai said in surprise, they must have found Modu and fought. Whoosh! Qin Feiyang grabbed Zhao Tailai and used the teleport technique to rush toward the east. At the same time, Modu, in front of the demonic palace, Sima Kuan, the Grand Master, the Water Kirin, and the Ink Kirin looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. The scene showed the Dead Sea outside, and there was a man and a beast. The man and the beast were Tang Hai and the Blood Kirin. Not many people know that we moved Modu. How did they find us here? The Ink Kirin looked at Sima Kuan and said in shock and anger, How would I know? Sima Yuan roared. The Grand Master said in a deep voice, I think either there is a spy here, or someone let it slip and Yin Wei heard it and passed it to Qin Feiyang. It is impossible for there to be a spy. Someone must have let it slip. But now that we have been exposed, it is useless to talk about it. Sima Kuan said in a gloomy voice. He looked up at the door of the demonic palace and said respectfully, My lord, please allow me to take people out and kill them. Lord Demonic Ancestor, please don't. We have lost contact with Sima Yuan. He must have encountered something bad. Even Sima Yuan with the Dragon Vein Sword is no match for them. If we let Sima Kuan take people out now, it will be suicide. The Water Kirin and the Ink Kirin hurriedly looked at the demonic palace and said, Then what do you think we should do? The Blood Kirin and Tang Hai are outside. Qin Feiyang must be in the Dead Sea as well. When Qin Feiyang arrives, Modu will be destroyed. Sima Kuan roared. Although Modu was a space divine item, Qin Feiyang also had many divine items. Besides, if Sima Yuan really died at the hands of Qin Feiyang, then the Dragon Vein Sword would have fallen into Qin Feiyang's hands. The Dragon Vein Sword alone would be enough to destroy Modu. However, they did not know that the Dragon Vein Sword was with the Blood Kirin at the moment. The Water Kirin said, The wisest choice now is to break out and wait for Lord Demonic Ancestor to merge with the Divine Body. Then we can fight them head-on. Break out? It is easy to say. Why don't you try? Sima Kuan said angrily. Before Lord Demonic Ancestor went into seclusion, he gave you control of Modu. That means that you are the only one who can control Modu. You want me to do it? Are you kidding me? The Water Kirin laughed coldly. Bastard, can't you see that the Blood Kirin has used his divine power to seal the area? How do you expect me to control Modu and break out? Sima Kuan roared. In the image, there was indeed a divine power by Sima. This by Sima was formed by the blood Kirin's divine power. Modu was now trapped inside this by Sima. The loud noise that Qin Feiyang and Zhao Tailai heard was the sound of Modu crashing into the by Sima. In other words, as soon as he was discovered by the blood Kirin and Tang Hai, Sima Kuan was already controlling Modu to break out. But the blood Kirin's strength was not weaker than Sima Kuan. It was easier said than done for Sima Yuan to break out. Didn't I teach you before that the more serious the situation, the calmer you must be? Now you are making a ruckus here. What is this? Seeing that Sima Kuan and the water Kirin were getting fiercer and fiercer, the voice of the demon ancestor suddenly sounded in the hall. Subordinate knows his mistake. The man and the beast's eyes trembled as they quickly bowed. The demon ancestor said, although Modu's whereabouts are exposed, it is not to the point of desperation. What is the plan, Lord? Sima Kuan asked. Don't forget, we still have a trump card in our hands. The demon ancestor said. Sima Kuan was taken aback and said in surprise, Lord, are you talking about Linny and the others? It is time for them to make a move. You go and arrange it immediately. In addition, bring Zhuge Shenyun, Zhuge Shunfeng, and the chief tower master to the demon tower to accept the inheritance. The demon ancestor said. Yes. Sima Kuan replied respectfully. Then, he waved his hand and disappeared with the Grand Master. The water Kirin and the ink Kirin looked at each other. The ink Kirin asked cautiously, Lord Demon Ancestor, are you going to let them accept the inheritance of the Undying Demon Technique? It is the inheritance of the Undying Demon Technique. The Demon Ancestor said, this is not good. Although cultivating the Undying Demon Technique can make their cultivation soar in a short period of time, the side effects, the ink Kirin was shocked. Does it matter? They are the same as Zhuge Mingye. They are just pawns in my hands. No, they are not even pawns. At most, they are just cannon fodder. For such cannon fodder, as long as they have a little value, we have to use them so as not to waste them. The demon ancestor said. There was ruthlessness and indifference in his voice. The ink Kirin's pupils shrank. Clang. It was at this moment. The loud sound of a divine weapon being unsheathed suddenly sounded. The ink Kirin and the water Kirin were startled and quickly looked up at the scene in front of them. Their expressions suddenly changed. In the scene, above the blood Kirin's head, a battle sword suddenly appeared. It's the Dragon Vein Sword. Lord Demon Ancestor, Sima Yuan has indeed died in their hands. The ink Kirin and the water Kirin exclaimed. However, there was no sound coming out from the demon palace. But if one sensed carefully, they could feel a trace of dense killing intent. Without a doubt, this was the demon ancestor's killing intent. At the same time, in the square in front of the demon tower, Sima Kuan was leading 3 people towards the demon tower's gate. These 3 people were Zhuge Shenyun, Zhuge Shunfeng, and the chief tower master. Demon City was now under Sima Kuan's control. So with a thought, he could appear anywhere in Demon City. Suddenly, a fiery red figure appeared in front of Sima Kuan. It was the Flame King. He glanced at the chief tower master and the other 2 suspiciously, then looked at Sima Kuan and asked, Why did you bring them here? Sima Kuan said, Demon City's whereabouts have been exposed. The demon ancestor asked me to bring them here to accept the inheritance of the Undying Demon Technique. What? Demon City has been exposed? The Flame King's expression changed. Undying Demon Technique? At the same time, the State Preceptor and the other 2 were stunned. Their faces were filled with surprise. The State Preceptor and the Chief Tower Master had seen Zhuge Mingyang's Undying Demon Technique. As for Zhuge Shanfeng, although he had been in a state of self-freezing, he had also heard about it when he got out. So they had long been drooling over the Undying Demon Technique. However, they did not notice that when the Flame King came back to his senses and looked at them, there was a hint of gloating in his eyes. However, the Flame King did not say much. With a wave of his hand, the Demon Tower's gate opened. But at this moment, Sima Kuan seemed to have sensed something. With a wave of his hand, an image quickly appeared in the void. In the image, the Blood Kirin and Tang Hai were working together to revive the Dragon Vein Sword. Dragon Vein Sword. Immediately, the Flame King's body trembled. The Dragon Vein Sword was in the Blood Kirin's hands. Did that mean that Sima Yuan thinking of this? The Flame King turned to look at Sima Kuan and found that Sima Kuan's face was filled with anger. His whole body was filled with a monstrous aura. He looked like a beast that was about to go crazy. Sima Kuan, don't be impulsive. The most important thing now is to find a way to stop them. Otherwise, Demon City will be destroyed by the Dragon Vein Sword. The Flame King hurriedly comforted him. I know. You take them to accept the inheritance. I will go find Linny. Sima Kuan withdrew his gaze and said to the Flame King. Then, he instantly disappeared from the Demon Tower. Find Linny? The Flame King was stunned. Then, the corner of his mouth raised slightly and murmured, It seems that there will be a good show soon. Then, he looked at the Chief Tower Master and the other two again. A hint of sarcasm flashed in the depths of his old eyes. Then, he waved his hand and took the three of them to the top floor of the Demon Tower. Chapter 1828. In the blink of an eye. Outside in the Dead Sea, the Blood Kirin and Tang Hai stood inside the Sima. The Dragon Vein Sword shone brightly. The sea was tens of thousands of miles wide, and huge waves were rolling. However, compared to the murderous Blood Kirin, Tang Hai looked hesitant. Blood Kirin, don't be rash. Zhang Jingyi, Yinwei, and Old Ren are still in Emodu. If you forcefully destroy Shanghai, they might also be killed by you. Suddenly, Tang Hai gritted his teeth and sent a message to the Blood Kirin. How can you accomplish anything if you are so wishy-washy? The Blood Kirin grunted. Roar. Accompanied by a deafening dragon roar, a huge black dragon soul roared out from the Dragon Vein Sword. The dragon soul had appeared. When the Dragon Vein Sword entered a fully awakened state, a dragon soul would appear. The Dragon Vein Sword's power was at its peak. Tang Hai stepped forward and stood in front of the Blood Kirin. His eyes were dark as he said, I won't let you do this. The Blood Kirin said angrily, Do you know that this opportunity is fleeting? I know, but there are too many people in Emodu that you care about. I don't want the young master to fall into pain and despair again. Tang Hai sent a message. The Blood Kirin's eyes flashed coldly. What we need to do now is to trap Emodu and not let them escape. As for whether or not we should destroy Emodu, we will have to wait for the young master to come and decide. Tang Hai thought, Are you stupid? If we wait for Qin Feiyang to come, based on his character, he will definitely hesitate. The Demon Alpha and the others will have a higher chance of escaping. I know that you care about Qin Feiyang. You don't want him to suffer the pain of losing his family and friends. But have you ever thought that what you are doing is harming him? Because if the Demon Alpha escapes, when he merges with the God Body and comes back, we won't be the only ones to suffer. The entire Great Qin will suffer. The Blood Kirin roared. Tang Hai's eyes trembled. Get out of the way. Today, we have to settle this with the Demon Alpha. The Blood Kirin shouted angrily. Young master, I am sorry. Although I want to stop the Blood Kirin, what it says makes sense. I can't let the demon ancestor escape, and I can't let him successfully fuse with the divine body. Tang Hai muttered to himself. He took a deep breath and decisively retreated to the side. The Blood Kirin's mind was locked onto Demonic City. Tang Hai moved aside, and the Blood Kirin controlled the dragon tattoo sword to slash at Emodu Clang. However, at this moment, following an earth-shattering boom, a huge building appeared in the void ahead. This is Wind Moon Pavilion. The Blood Kirin was furious. As a former subordinate of the demon ancestor, he naturally knew the true intentions of the Wind Moon Pavilion. That wasn't a restaurant at all, but a supreme-grade divine artifact. Rumble. As soon as the Wind Moon Pavilion appeared, it charged toward the Dragon Vein Sword with a mighty divine might. The two supreme-grade divine artifacts collided violently. A destructive aura suddenly roared within the barrier. The barrier immediately began to tremble violently. Humph. You want to break the barrier and escape? In your dreams. The Blood Kirin snorted through his nose. The Kirin's divine power surged out like a waterfall and poured into the barrier. Immediately, the trembling barrier slowly calmed down. Wind Moon Pavilion. Tang Hai stared at the Wind Moon Pavilion with a trace of self-blame on his face. If he hadn't stopped it, the Blood Kirin would have destroyed Demonic City. The Blood Kirin glanced at Tang Hai and sighed. You don't have to blame yourself. I was too naive. Tang Hai was slightly taken aback and looked at the Blood Kirin suspiciously. I neglected one thing before. Before the demon ancestor went into seclusion, he handed Demonic City over to Sima Kuan. In other words, the current owner of Demonic City is Sima Kuan. As the owner of Demonic City, he can control the supreme-grade divine artifact at any time to stop us. In short, as long as Sima Kuan is not dead, as long as the supreme-grade divine artifact, the Wind Moon Pavilion, is still there, no matter when I attack, I will not be able to destroy Demonic City, the Blood Kirin said. He handed Demonic City over to Sima Kuan. Tang Hai was surprised. The demon ancestor dared to give such an important spatial divine artifact to Sima Kuan. This was not just trust, but treating Sima Kuan as his own child. The Blood Kirin said to himself, be careful, don't be distracted. The battle has only just begun. Tang Hai quivered and immediately became alert. However, Sima Kuan did not appear after leaving the Wind Moon Pavilion. Whoosh! At this moment, accompanied by the sound of the air being torn apart, two figures flashed over like graceful birds. It's the young master. Tang Hai perked up. Swoosh! Qin Feiyong brought Zhao Tailai into the barrier and landed beside the Blood Kirin and Tang Hai. He looked up at the Wind Moon Pavilion. Zhao Tailai's pupils constricted as he said in surprise, that's Sima Kuan's supreme-grade divine artifact? Yes. The Blood Kirin nodded. Qin Feiyong released his divine will and searched the void, but he only found the Wind Moon Pavilion and Demonic City. He frowned and said, where is Sima Kuan? He must be plotting something. The Blood Kirin sneered. However, before the Blood Kirin finished speaking, a burly figure appeared in front of the Wind Moon Pavilion. His aura was extremely terrifying. Sima Kuan. Murderous intent surged in the Blood Kirin's eyes. Sima Kuan glanced at Qin Feiyong and the other two, then at the Dragon Vein Sword. He then looked at the Blood Kirin and said, as expected of my former partner, you can even predict what I am doing. The demon ancestor is in seclusion, and Sima Yuan has been killed. What can you and the Flame King do? The Blood Kirin sneered. Is that so? Sima Kuan laughed and turned to look at Qin Feiyong. He said, my big brother died in your hands, right? He was indeed defeated by me, but I didn't kill him. He committed suicide. Qin Feiyong said. Suicide? Sima Kuan murmured and shook his head with a smile. This is indeed his style. However, you can't escape responsibility for his death. I'll give you a choice now. What choice? Qin Feiyong said. Give me the Dragon Vein Sword and commit suicide in front of everyone. Then, I will promise you that I will treat the Mermaid Princess well. Sima Kuan grinned. Mermaid Princess. Qin Feiyong muttered to himself. The Blood Kirin frowned and said, Qin Feiyong, you wouldn't do such a stupid thing, would you? Aren't you talking nonsense? Why would the young master commit suicide? Besides, can you believe Sima Kuan's words? Zhao Tailai rolled his eyes at the Blood Kirin. The Blood Kirin smiled. Qin Feiyong sighed and looked at Sima Kuan. He smiled and said, I'll give you a choice too. Oh? Sima Kuan was surprised. He smiled and said, tell me. Before your big brother died, he said that if possible, I should let you go. I didn't agree at first, but now, I have changed my mind. If you give me the Mermaid Princess and the others, I will let you live. Qin Feiyong said. Haha. When Sima Kuan heard this, he suddenly laughed. There was a trace of sarcasm and sadness in his voice. Big brother, we brothers have come so far. What haven't we experienced? Why do you have to beg Qin Feiyong? Have you forgotten that it wasn't easy for us to find our dignity as human beings? But before you die, you throw away all your dignity? Are you really my big brother? When did my Sima Kuan's big brother become so weak and useless? Sima Kuan roared. If your big brother was really weak, he wouldn't have chosen to self-destruct without hesitation and die with me. He put down his dignity to beg me for your sake. You should be grateful to him. You should cherish what he has done for you. You shouldn't call him useless like you are now. Qin Feiyang shouted. Haha, what do you know? You don't know anything at all? Sima Kuan sneered. It's the opposite. I understand the pain you have suffered all these years. I also know the despair you experienced when you were young. But there is one thing I really don't understand. Why do you have to live in the past? Is it because of hatred? However, back then, those people who killed your parents, those people who bullied your brothers, didn't they all die by your hands? Could it be that this is still unable to free your hearts? Qin Feiyang shouted. Yes. Sima Kuan's face was distorted as he laughed sinisterly. How can just killing them relieve my hatred? Then what are you going to do? Kill everyone in this world? Qin Feiyang said. No, I won't kill them all, but I will let them live in the abyss of pain. I will let them taste the despair I experienced back then. After saying so much, it's actually just one sentence. I will play with them wantonly. Ha. The pleasure of controlling the fate of the world and playing with them in the palm of your hand. You bastard will never understand. Sima Kuan laughed wildly. Qin Feiyang's eyes sank, and he said word by word, I think you are hopeless. I am hopeless? You should think about how to save your family and friends first. Sima Kuan waved his hand, and a white figure appeared out of thin air. It was a woman. She wore a long white dress. Her black hair fluttered, and her skin was as white as snow. She looked like a fairy descending to the world, but her expression was extremely cold. Qin Feiyang looked at the woman with trembling eyes. That's right. This person is Lin Feiyang. Father and Yinwei sent a message saying that Sima Kuan wants to use Lin and others to deal with you. At the same time, Luo Qingzhu's voice sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang secretly said, She has appeared. She has appeared? Luo Qingzhu was taken aback and asked, Then what are you going to do? I don't know. Qin Feiyang murmured. Qin Feiyang, how is it? Are you in pain now? Ha. This is the pleasure of playing with others. Even if you are Qin Feiyang, I am afraid it is difficult for you to choose at this moment. Sima Kuan laughed crazily. Qin Feiyang was silent, looking at the familiar face and figure in front of him. His eyes were full of self-blame and guilt. Chapter 1829. If it weren't for him, Lin Yi would not be targeted by the demon ancestor. If she wasn't targeted by the demon ancestor, she wouldn't be in such a situation now. Similarly, if he didn't leave Lin Yi in the spiritual state, these things wouldn't happen. He wanted to protect Lin Yi, but he ended up harming her instead. That's right. It's his fault. He had single-handedly caused all of this. Not only Lin Yi, but also his grandfather, maternal grandfather, mother, mermaid princess, grandfather, Ren Wushuang, Lei Bao, Wang Yangfeng, and the Wang clan's clansmen. They all fell into such a situation because of him. Everyone was right. He was a jinx. He shouldn't have appeared in this world. Endless pain and self-blame drowned Qin Feiyang like a tide. Haha, aren't you very strong? Aren't you very powerful? Even my big brother is not your opponent? But now, aren't you still beaten into the abyss by me? And without wasting a single soldier? This is the means. If you want to be a real overlord, you not only need to have powerful strength, but also have a brain. Obviously, Lord Demon Ancestor's means are better than you, Qin Feiyang. In the future, it will be Lord Demon Ancestor's world, and I will also follow Lord Demon Ancestor and enjoy supreme glory. Sima Kuan laughed, his face full of desire for power. Don't blow your own trumpet. In my opinion, Demon Ancestors means have nothing to do with strength. Zhao Tailai snorted coldly. Tang Hai said, Yes, it can only be described as despicable and lowly. Despicable? Lowly? Is that how you understand it? Then I can only say that you are too naive and childish. This is grasping the opponent's Achilles heel. It can make the opponent collapse without any effort. Look, isn't Qin Feiyang the best proof now? Sima Kuan smiled contemptuously. The two of them turned to look at Qin Feiyang, their eyes full of worry. Lin Yi glanced at Qin Feiyang and others indifferently. She turned to look at Sima Kuan and said, "You talk too much nonsense." Sima Kuan didn't get angry. He nodded and said, "Miss Yi is right. I'll have them come out immediately." After saying that, Sima Kuan waved his hand again, and two figures appeared. They were two old men. One of them wore a white robe, had white hair, and was emitting an ethereal aura. The other wore green clothes. Although he was old, his black hair was like a waterfall. His hands were behind his back, and his entire body exuded a shocking aura of an emperor. Furthermore, both of their auras were extremely powerful. They were two war gods. Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were bewildered. In the meantime, feeling the aura of the two old men, Qin Feiyang looked up and his body suddenly shook. The blood Kirin quietly said, "They are Qin Feiyang's grandpa and grandpa." What? Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai were shocked. They thought that these two old men were the war gods under the demon ancestor. They didn't expect that they were Qin Feiyang's grandpa and grandpa. Wait, why did Sima Kuan call them out? Could it be that they have already? Zhao Tailai looked at the blood Kirin in surprise. Yes. They have all been controlled by Lin Yi's Eye of Oblivion. In other words, they don't know Qin Feiyang at all now. The blood Kirin was worried. These two old men were definitely more difficult for Qin Feiyang to give up. Sima Kuan used them to deal with Qin Feiyang. The consequences, thinking of this, it didn't dare to think about it anymore. They are also being controlled. Hearing the blood Kirin's words, Qin Feiyang's eyes trembled, and his face turned pale. Why? Why treat these two old men so cruelly? Why treat him so cruelly? Being controlled, doesn't it mean that he will have to fight with his grandpa and grandpa later? Facing these two old men, how could he do it? Tang Hai glanced at Qin Feiyang, glanced at the two old men and said, "Then who is the young master's grandpa? And who is the young master's grandpa?" The old man in white robe is Qin Feiyang's grandpa, Lu Yun. The old man in green robe is Qin Feiyang's grandpa, Emperor Chun. These two are the biggest trump cards in the hands of the demon ancestor. I didn't expect them to be used so soon. The blood Kirin said in a deep voice. What about their cultivation base? Zhao Tailai frowned. The blood Kirin said, although they are controlled by the Eye of Oblivion and will forget everything, their cultivation will not be interrupted. They have both stepped into the war god realm a long time ago. It seems that the situation is really bad. Zhao Tailai murmured. Yeah, these two were taken away by the demon ancestor because of Qin Feiyang. You can imagine how difficult it is for Qin Feiyang to face them now. If these two make a move, even Qin Feiyang won't fight back. The blood Kirin said. Tang Hai's eyes flashed coldly, and he said, "If the young master doesn't fight back, there is still us. We will act according to the situation." The blood Kirin glanced at Tang Hai and thought, at least you have some awareness. If they didn't make a move, they would be finished this time. No, I can't fight against them. They are my grandpas. How can I fight against them? He looked at Qin Feiyang again. At this moment, he shook his head and mumbled to himself. Tears blurred his vision. Although he didn't remember these two old men, as the blood Kirin said, his grandpa and grandpa were taken away by the demon ancestor because of him. He didn't dare to think about how his grandpa and grandpa had spent all these years in the demon ancestor. Yes, it was all his fault. Why did he have to appear in this world and implicate his loved ones? His heart was as painful as a knife, and he couldn't wait to die here. When I heard the rumors about you before, I thought you were a great young man, but now it seems that you are just us. Sima Kuan sneered. In fact, he had expected this scene a long time ago. For some people, as long as their interests were threatened, even if it was their own grandpa or grandpa, they would kill them ruthlessly. But Qin Feiyang wouldn't, because he was such a person. So as long as he showed these two trump cards, it was tantamount to winning. Sima Kuan looked at Lin Yi and said with a smile, "Miss Yi, you can make your move now." Lin Yi's beautiful eyes flickered with murderous intent. She looked at Qin Feiyang without any emotion in her eyes and said, "I don't know why you cruelly killed my parents and my family, but blood must be repaid with blood. Now, for the mistakes you have made in the past, forgive yourself and kill him for me." Her voice fell. Lu Yun and Emperor Chen immediately released their aura and rushed towards Qin Feiyang like lightning. Those cold eyes were also emotionless. "Young master," Zhao Tailai shouted. Blood Kirin said angrily, "It's useless. He has completely lost the courage to fight." "Then let me end it." Tang Hai's eyes were cold. He took a step forward, and his aura erupted like a volcano. "Mind your own business." Sima Kuan raised his eyebrows. But just as Sima Kuan spoke, Qin Feiyang grabbed Tang Hai and shouted, "They are my grandpa and grandpa. What do you want to do?" Slap. Tang Hai raised his hand and slapped Qin Feiyang's face hard. "Old Tang, what are you doing?" Zhao Tailai's face changed and shouted, "I want to wake him up." Tang Hai said with a gloomy face, then stared at Qin Feiyang and said, "Look at them clearly. Are they your grandpa or grandpa now?" Qin Feiyang looked at Lu Yun and Emperor Chun. His face was full of pain. "Open your eyes and look carefully. They are no longer your grandpa. I know it's hard for you to do it. If I were you, I wouldn't be able to do it either. But now we have no choice. Either they die, or we die." Tang Hai shouted. "But..." Qin Feiyang shook his head. "No buts. We only have one choice, and that is to kill them." Tang Hai said, "No, I can't do this. They are in this situation because of me." Qin Feiyang murmured, "Wake up, wake up. What's the use of blaming yourself now? Do you want to see the great Qin Empire destroyed in their hands? Look at you now. Are you really the young master that I swore to follow?" Tang Hai roared, "I don't want to, but..." Qin Feiyang shook his head. His hands were clenched together, and blood was flowing from his hands. "You really disappoint me." Tang Hai pushed Qin Feiyang away and turned to look at the murderous Lu Yun and Emperor Chun. "You are so lucky to have such a grandson who cares about you. If you still care about the young master, wake up now. Don't be used by them." He almost roared the last sentence, and it echoed through the sky. However, Lu Yun and Emperor Chun did not respond. "It's useless. As long as they are controlled by the Eye of Oblivion, no one can wake them up. But you really like to poke your nose into other people's business." Sima Kuan looked at Tang Hai and then looked at the Blood Kirin and Zhao Tailai. "It seems that I have to find something for you to do." Whoosh. The next moment, 3 men and 2 beasts appeared next to Sima Kuan. The 2 beasts were the Water Kirin and the Ink Kirin. And of the 3 men, one of them was an old man with long red hair and wearing a red robe. That's right. It was the Flame King. The other 2 were middle-aged men. One of them had a muscular body and a height of 1.9 meters. His upper body was naked, and he was only wearing a pair of underpants. The underpants were made of animal skin, and he had a head full of thick black hair. His body was filled with explosive power. The other person was thin and relatively short. He was about 1.6 meters tall, but his thick black hair draped over his shoulders. His entire body was shrouded in wisps of black mist, and there was a shocking, ferocious aura between his brows. Water Kirin, Ink Kirin, Flame King, Black Devil King, Sky King. Seeing the 3 men and 1 beast, the Blood Kirin's face suddenly sank. The middle-aged man with short hair shook his head and sighed. "Blood Kirin, I really don't know what gave you the courage to betray the Demon Alpha." This man was one of the Demon Alpha's war gods, Sky King. Genius memorized this site's address. Pinnacle mobile version website. Chapter 1830. Cut the crap. If the demon ancestor really trusts us, why would he use the blood soul technique to control us? The only people the demon ancestor truly trusts are Sima Yuan and Sima Kuan. Only idiots like you would work so hard for him. The Blood Kirin sneered. Wrong, wrong, wrong. We are just adapting to the situation. Who in the world can compare to the demon ancestor? The mist-shrouded middle-aged man shook his head. Black Devil King, can I call you a frog at the bottom of a well? The demon ancestor is very strong, but there are many people stronger than him in this world. Qin Yuan and the Snow Python are one of them. Of course, there is also Qin Feiyang. The Blood Kirin said. Qin Feiyang? The Black Devil King was stunned. He glanced at Qin Feiyang and laughed. Blood Kirin, are you joking? Qin Feiyang's talent is scary. It is not impossible for him to surpass the demon ancestor, but right now, he is still far from it. You really are a frog at the bottom of a well. You will never understand how scary Qin Feiyang is. The Blood Kirin sneered. In the past, it had been like the Black Devil King. It had looked down on Qin Feiyang. However, after interacting with Qin Feiyang, it realized that he was a human who could make anyone despair. Let's cut the crap. Go and stop them. Don't let them interfere with the battle between Qin Feiyang and his grandfathers. Sima Kuan said. Understood. The 3 men and 2 beasts laughed and immediately charged at Tang Hai and Zhao Tai. You want to stop us? The Blood Kirin shouted. The dragon vein sword awakened and slashed. The Tianwu king shook his head and said, What a pity for Sima Yuan. He died at the hands of trash like you. Regardless of whether it was the Water Qilin or King Tianwu's group, they all ignored the dragon vein sword and did not stop. Clang. As the dragon vein sword awakened, Sima Kuan also awakened the Wind Moon Pavilion. The 2 supreme-grade divine artifacts clashed again. Young Master. Seeing this, Tang Hai roared at Qin Feiyang. Zhao Tailai shouted, Old Tang, believe in the young master. Give him some time. He will definitely be able to do it. Come and deal with them with me. What a joke. There was no way he could handle 3 gods of battle and 2 godly beasts by himself. Tang Hai glanced at Qin Feiyang, gritted his teeth, and turned to stare at the Black Devil King. You were the one who said that the young master was still lacking, right? All right, I'll start with you. Clang. Finished speaking. Tang Hai grabbed the black dagger and charged towards the Black Devil King like a bolt of lightning. Making an example out of me? Stop boasting. The Black Devil King waved his hand, and a battle blade appeared, facing Tang Hai. Clang. When the dagger and the war blade met, they were evenly matched. The Black Devil King looked at the dagger in Tang Hai's hand in surprise. He suddenly smiled and said, So it's a high-grade divine artifact. No wonder you're so confident. But this blade of mine is also a high-grade divine artifact. So what if it's a high-grade divine artifact? Tang Hai smiled in disdain. His aura suddenly disappeared. Like a ghost, he took a step forward and instantly appeared behind the Black Devil King, waving his dagger fiercely. This speed, the Black Devil King was shocked. He quickly dove down and escaped into the sky. However, he was still one step too late. Following a painful scream, a deep wound appeared on the Black Devil King's back. Blood gushed out from the wound. So fast, the Black Devil King was drenched in cold sweat. If it wasn't for his quick reaction, this blade would have split him in half. Sure enough, none of the people who were chosen by Qin Feiyang and accepted as his subordinates were simple characters. At the same time, King Tianwu, King Yin, Water Qilin, and Ink Qilin all looked at Tang Hai in shock. In just one meeting, he had injured the Black Devil King. His strength couldn't be underestimated. You guys still don't know. Tang Hai's speed is comparable to the young master's. The consequences of underestimating him are very serious. However, since Tang Hai is so desperate, how can I be careless? Zhao Tailai murmured. He took out his rusty axe and swung it at King Tianwu when he wasn't paying attention. The blade was bone-piercing. King Tianwu quickly dodged, but a ghastly wound was left on his shoulder. This is the price of being careless. Although Tang Hai is powerful, I'm not a pushover. Zhao Tailai laughed wildly. He held the axe and charged at King Tianwu. Qin Feiyang's subordinates are indeed powerful. However, this is more interesting. King Tianwu laughed cruelly. The blood in his body surged. He took a step forward and hit the axe with his bare hands. What? Zhao Tailai was surprised. Is this person courting death? Since that's the case, there's no need to be polite. I'll kill this person first. Clang. Boom. However, when the axe and King Tianwu's hand met, Zhao Tailai was so shocked that he was tongue-tied. The sharpness of the axe was obvious to all, but at this moment, it only left a wound on King Tianwu's hand. How could a person's body be so strong? One had to know. Even if the axe couldn't be revived, it was still comparable to a high-grade divine artifact. Do you know why I'm called King Tianwu? It's because of my body. As long as I activate the heavenly martial divine technique, my body will be comparable to a high-grade divine artifact. King Tianwu laughed proudly and once again attacked Zhao Tai with his bare hands. King Yin also charged at Zhao Tai. Zhao Tai's eyes dimmed. It seemed like he was in for a tough battle. How embarrassing to be injured so badly. However, this is the end. At the same time, the Black Devil King laughed cruelly. A terrifying demonic mist appeared around him. He grabbed his blade and charged at Tang Hai. The Water Qilin and Ink Qilin glanced at the battlefield and charged at Tang Hai. Because the situation was obvious, Tang Hai was more difficult to deal with than Zhao Tai. The battle instantly started. Whether it was the Blood Qilin or Zhao Tai, they were fighting a bloody battle. On the other side, Qin Feiyang was also facing an unprecedented crisis. Lu Yun and Emperor Chen were already in front of him. I can't make a move, but Qin Feiyang still lowered his head. His mind was in a mess. Deity, let me do it. Suddenly, the voice of the inner demons sounded in Qin Feiyang's mind. Qin Feiyang shouted, "No, they are not our enemies. It's Grandpa and Grandpa, then kill Lin Yi. As long as Lin Yi dies, the control of the Eye of Oblivion on them will naturally disappear." The inner demon said, "Kill Lin Yi." Qin Feiyang raised his head, looked past Lu Yun and Emperor Chen, and looked at Lin Yi. For Lin Yi, he owed her too much in this life. Lin Yi became like this because she longed for strength and wanted to stay by his side. That was why she was used by the demon ancestor. Now that he was asked to kill Lin Yi, how could he do it? Even if he knew that he could use the gate of reincarnation to resurrect her in the future, he couldn't be ruthless. Boom! Emperor Chen and Lu Yun rushed over and punched Qin Feiyang's chest mercilessly. Puff! Qin Feiyang immediately spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out like a meteorite. However, his physical body was fine, because after being tempered by the power of thunder, his current physical body was at least comparable to a middle-grade divine artifact. "Young master, we all believe in you. You must cheer up," Tang Hai murmured. Now, even if he wanted to help Qin Feiyang, he couldn't do it. Because in the face of Black Demon King, Water Qilin, and Ink Qilin, he couldn't even protect himself. Why didn't you fight back? Is it because you know that you have sinned and are condemned in your heart, so you don't have the face to fight back? Lin Yi looked at Qin Feiyang coldly and said, "Yi, is this really the case? No, I can't bear to fight back. One of them is my grandpa, and the other is my grandpa. How can I fight back?" "Yi, don't you remember me? Have you forgotten what we went through in Iron Ox Town? Have you forgotten what happened in Yin City? In our hearts, we are the most important people. I beg you, please wake up. I really don't want to kill you." Qin Feiyang roared. "What Iron Ox Town? What Yin City? It's nonsense. Between you and me, there is only blood feud. Kill!" Lin Yi shouted. Lu Yun and Emperor Chen once again attacked Qin Feiyang. Qin Feiyang instinctively raised his arm to fight back, but when he saw the two old faces, his heart suddenly softened. Boom! However, Emperor Chen and Lu Yun did not show any mercy. Once again, they blasted Qin Feiyang's chest. "Don't think that if you don't fight back, I will believe you. Don't think that if you don't fight back, I will be merciful to you." Lin Yi's eyes were as cold as ice. Emperor Chen and Lu Yun were also full of murderous intent. They bombarded Qin Feiyang frantically. Crack! Even Qin Feiyang's body began to collapse. The divine bones in his chest began to break one after another. Blood spurted out of his mouth without stopping. "Grandpa, Grandpa," Qin Feiyang seemed to be numb. He let the two old men in front of him bombard him with punch after punch. His heart was helpless to the extreme. Who could teach him what to do? How is this possible? Sima Kuan, who was fighting with the Blood Kirin, inadvertently saw Qin Feiyang's situation. He suddenly felt incredulous. One must know. Both Emperor Chen and Lu Yun had just become war gods. They did not show any mercy. However, Qin Feiyang was not injured at all. Could it be that he, like King Tianwu, had mastered some kind of divine art that could strengthen the body? Bastard! What are you looking at? The blood Kirin roared and slashed with the dragon vein sword. Humph! Sima Kuan snorted coldly. He waved his hand and attacked the Wind Moon Pavilion. Clang! The two supreme-grade divine artifacts collided crazily. Terrifying airwaves surged in all directions. I have been indecisive. I will suffer instead. You have to make a choice. The inner demons were very anxious in the castle. If this continued, no matter how strong Qin Feiyang's body was, he would die in the hands of Emperor Qin and Lu Yun. Luo Qingzhu and the others stood behind the inner demons. They looked at Qin Feiyang on the screen with a worried look. Although the castle was now under the control of Qin Feiyang, the inner demons could also use the castle's basic abilities, such as spying on the battlefield outside. Genius memorized this site's address in a second. Pinnacle mobile version website. Chapter 1831. At the same time, Imperial Palace, Golden Imperial Palace. The Emperor sat on the dragon throne, staring outside the door, his face full of worry. All the civil and military officials were standing in the imperial court, but no one spoke. The entire Golden Imperial Palace fell into a deathly silence, and the atmosphere was extremely heavy. Swish! Suddenly, two old men appeared in the Golden Imperial Palace, their auras oppressing people's hearts. It was Emperor Hong and Elder Qin. Greetings, Elder Qin. Greetings, Lord Emperor Hong. The civil and military officials all knelt down and saluted. The emperor also immediately stood up, looked at the two of them, and asked nervously, "Grandfather, Elder Qin, have you found Haoyan?" After Qin Feiyang left, the emperor, Emperor Hong, and Elder Qin led the Kirin army, the various marquis, and the enforcers of the Divine Palace back to the Imperial Palace. But when they returned, they discovered that the little prince had actually disappeared, and the guards, palace maids, and eunuchs who were protecting the little prince had all died. In other words, no one knew how the little prince disappeared. Without a doubt, whether it was the emperor, Emperor Hong, or Elder Qin, they were all furious. Because the little prince was different from the eldest prince. The eldest prince was the illegitimate son of Zhuge Wuhou. Even if Qin Feiyang didn't kill him back then, after eliminating the devil ancestor and the imperial preceptor, the emperor would personally kill him. But the little prince was a pure descendant of the Qin clan. One had to know. Right now, the descendants of the Qin clan, other than those princesses, were only Qin Feiyang and the little prince. In other words, right now, in the entire Qin clan, other than these old fellows, there were only two men. This was related to the inheritance of the bloodline of the Qin clan. How could there be a mistake? Emperor Hong and Elder Qin immediately led the enforcers of the Divine Palace and the Kirin army to search for the little prince's whereabouts. This time, he didn't return until now. Emperor Hong looked at the emperor and shook his head. I searched the entire imperial city, but I didn't find any trace of Haoyan. No. The emperor immediately collapsed powerlessly. Elder Qin said in a deep voice, Emperor Hong and I have analyzed it. It should be the Water Qilin and the Ink Qilin who kidnapped the little prince. Water Qilin and Ink Qilin? The emperor frowned.
Yes.
When we were at the Liu family, they opened a teleportation gate and escaped. We all thought that they would go to the Sea of Reincarnation. But actually, they should have come to the Imperial Palace. Old Qin said. Damn it. Haoyan is just a child. Why do you want to lay your hands on him? The emperor said furiously. It's precisely because he's a child that he's easy to control. Moreover, Feiyang has deep feelings for Haoyan. If I were the devil ancestor, I wouldn't let go of such a good bargaining chip. Old Qin sighed. What do we do now? The emperor looked helplessly at the two of them. If Haoyan falls into the hands of the fiend ancestor, there's nothing we can do. Furthermore, we have to be mentally prepared. After all, the fiend ancestor's methods are too brutal, Emperor Hong said. In other words, the chances of the little prince surviving were slim. The emperor's gaze trembled as he howled in grief. We don't know if Feiyang is dead or alive, and we don't know where Haoyan is either. Could it be that the heavens really want to destroy our great Qin? Calm down. We can distrust others, but we can't distrust Fei Yong. He will definitely survive. Emperor Hong shouted. That's right. Fei Yong didn't rely on luck to reach where he is today. Taking a step back, even if Fei Yong dies in battle and the little prince is harmed, there's still you, your majesty. Our great Qin's bloodline will never be broken, old Qin said. The emperor smiled bitterly and shook his head. If Fei Yong dies in battle, will the fiend ancestor let us go? Definitely not. Moreover, there's still Mu Tianyang. Mu Tianyang. Emperor Hong's eyes flickered. He turned to look at old Qin and said in a deep voice, when dawn arrives, immediately head to the 9 provinces and destroy the Butterfly Valley's teleportation altar. What do you mean? Old Qin was surprised. Mu Tianyang is currently in the Forgotten Continent, and the spatial gate is also in the hands of the Snow Python. As long as the teleportation altar is destroyed, he won't be able to return to the Great Qin Empire. Emperor Hong said, this can indeed prevent Mu Tianyang from coming back for revenge, but have you thought about it? If Fei Yong really dies in battle, when the fiend ancestor comes, we won't have a way out. Old Qin said. Emperor Hong clenched his hands and said, if that moment really comes, we will fight to the death with the fiend ancestor. Yes, at worst we will die. What is there for the descendants of my Qin clan to fear? The emperor suddenly stood up and said firmly. Old Qin looked at Emperor Hong and the emperor and nodded. All right, we'll do as you say. Although the atmosphere in the throne room was extremely heavy, outside the imperial city and even the 9 provinces, it was calm at this moment. People were still doing what they should do as usual. This was because Emperor Hong and the emperor deliberately blocked the news of the fiend ancestor and Mu Tianyang. After all, these 2 demons were not ordinary terrifying. If news of this spread out, the Great Qin would definitely fall into chaos. Because of this, the world did not know that at this moment, on Demon Dragon Island, an unparalleled battle of gods was happening. Sea of Reincarnation, Demon Dragon Island, divine weapons, divine arts, battle souls, they were constantly clashing in the void. The already gloomy sky became even more gloomy at this moment. Terrifying auras roared in the void. In the Dead Sea below, huge waves covered the sky. The Blood Shielan was still fine. With 2 superb divine weapons in hand, it was enough to compete with Sima Kuan. But Tang Hai and Zhao Tailai were already scarred under the siege of Heimo Theta Wang and the Water Qielan. The weakness in their expressions couldn't be concealed. On the other side of the battlefield, Qin Fei Yong's situation was also precarious. Whether it was Lin Yi, Lu Zhong, or Emperor Chen, they all looked indifferent the whole time. Puff. Qin Fei Yong spat out a mouthful of blood and smashed into the barrier of the Blood Shielan's disdain like a meteorite. The fragmented barrier immediately shattered. Sima Kuan's eyes lit up, and he immediately had the idea of escaping with Demon Capital. But when he saw Qin Fei Yong's situation, a hint of ridicule flashed in his eyes, and he dispelled the idea of escaping. At this rate, Lin Yi could kill Qin Fei Yong without the need for the fiend ancestor to come out of seclusion. Why hasn't he fought back? Is there really some kind of relationship between him and me? At the moment when the barrier shattered, Lin Yi's indifferent expression finally showed a slight change. She looked at Qin Fei Yong and tried to recall, but there was no impression in her memory. Sima Kuan noticed Lin Yi's abnormality. His eyelids twitched suddenly, and he quickly shouted, "Yi, don't be deceived by him. He is trying to trick me." Trick me? Lin Yi was taken aback slightly, and her expression suddenly turned cold again. She snorted coldly. Sure enough, he is a damn person. Emperor Chen and Lu Yun did not stop at all. They continued to attack Qin Fei Yong. Puff. Qin Fei Yong spat out a mouthful of blood. Like a meteor, he fell into the Dead Sea below. The seawater was bone-chilling, but it could not dispel the helplessness and pain in his heart. The family I owe the most, the woman I regard as my sister, has become my enemy. Why did it become like this? Heavens, when are you going to stop tormenting me? Qin Fei Yong roared. The helplessness and pain in his heart turned into a monstrous anger. All of this almost made him collapse, and he was about to lose his mind. Fei Yong, Think about what Uncle Yin said to you when he committed suicide. Luo Qingzhu's sigh sounded. Uncle Yin? Qin Feiyong was taken aback. The dusty memory emerged uncontrollably in his mind. Feiyong, you must listen to me. Don't be led by the nose by these beasts. I am not afraid of death. Old Master Run and the others are not afraid of death. You have to go all out. Only in this way can you have a chance to kill them and return peace to Great Qin. In short, don't be afraid because of us. This way, not only will we not feel happy, but we will also blame ourselves more. The cold seawater wrapped Qin Feiyong. Yin Nanshan's words before his death kept echoing in his mind. Uncle Yin, is this what you've realized? Qin Feiyong murmured. Perhaps. This was not only Yin Nanshan's awareness, but also the awareness of his grandfather, Old Master, and Ren Wushuang. Even Yin Wei and Jiang Zhengyi must be thinking the same at this moment. Figures and faces kept flashing in his mind. Gradually, a smile appeared on Qin Feiyong's face. Yes, everyone had this awareness. What was there for him to blame himself for? What was there to feel guilty about? Before entering Demon Dragon Island, he was already prepared to face all of this, so there was no need to think too much. Thank you, Uncle Yin. Qin Feiyong looked up at the sea and murmured softly, You can rest assured that I will not let you down. After saying that, he walked up step by step. A majestic aura gradually spread out from his body. The surrounding seawater was evaporating at a terrifying speed. And, above the sea, everyone and all the beasts stopped at this moment and looked down at the Dead Sea. This aura, Black Devil King whispered. In a trance, he seemed to see a beast awakening. Young master, I knew you could do it, Zhao Tailai murmured. Tang Hai's eyes also showed a rare smile. Impossible. One is the woman he cares about the most, and the other is his most respected grandfather and grandfather whom he owes the most. How could he have this awareness? But this aura, Sima Kuan murmured, his eyes full of disbelief. Although this aura wasn't strong, it made him feel inexplicably panicked. Splash. The sea surged. Qin Feiyong walked out of the sea step by step. His expression no longer had the pain and despair from before. He looked like a passerby who had nothing to do with all this. His eyes were extremely calm. This look, no. He must be putting on an act. In the face of such a cruel thing, he will never be cruel enough to hurt Lin Yi and Emperor Chun. Sima Kuan shook his head. Although he had never been in contact with Qin Feiyong before, he knew his character very well. There was one thing that this man could never give up. That was his feelings. His feelings for Lin Yi, Lu Yun, and Emperor Chun could never be erased. Pretend. Keep pretending. Let me see what you can pretend to do. Kill him. Sima Kuan smiled ferociously and shouted at Lin Yi. Chapter 1832. When Lin Yi heard this, she looked at Qin Feiyong and said, You are really lucky. You can't even die like this. If I die so easily, why would the demon ancestor be so afraid of me? Qin Feiyong looked at Lin Yi and said with a smile, Master is afraid of you? You think too highly of yourself. With a wave of Lin Yi's hand, Emperor Chen and Lu Yun's aura erupted. They attacked Qin Feiyong again. If not, why would the demon ancestor hide from me to fuse with the divine body? Qin Feiyong took a step forward, crossed Lu Yun and Emperor Chen in an instant, and landed in front of Lin Yi. What? Lin Yi's expression changed. Qin Feiyong looked at Lin Yi calmly and said with a smile, I'm sorry. Although I don't want to do this, you must die now. After saying that, he raised his arm and slapped Lin Yi's glabella. Ah! With a painful scream, Lin Yi's head immediately exploded in the void. Flesh and blood splattered everywhere. Sima Kuan's face was dull. He couldn't believe it. It's not an act. He really wants to kill her. I can't imagine how Qin Feiyong could be so ruthless. Black Demon Theta Wong and the Water Kirin also looked at Qin Feiyong with a dumbfounded expression. Originally, they were like Sima Kuan. They thought that Qin Feiyong was pretending. His purpose was to find an opportunity to save Lin Yi and Lu Yun from their hands. But they never expected that he would kill them directly. And there was no hesitation. Oh my God, What kind of young man is this? He can even kill the woman he cares about the most without mercy. His heart is made of iron. If you don't even have this awareness, how can you eliminate the demon ancestor? Qin Feiyang looked up at Sima Kuan and others and said with a smile. Looking at the smile on Qin Feiyang's face, Sima Kuan and others felt panic from the bottom of their hearts. Swoosh. Suddenly, Sima Kuan waved his hand, rolled up the wind moon pavilion, and teleported away. Sima Kuan, what are you doing? The Black Devil King roared. He actually abandoned them and escaped alone? Sima Kuan said without turning his head, the demon ancestor will come out of seclusion soon. You must stop Qin Feiyang. Damn it. The Black Devil Theta Wong and the Water Qilin were furious. Escape? Did you get my permission? The Blood Kirin smiled darkly. He also used teleportation. Bringing the Dragon Vein sword with him, he chased after him like a bolt of lightning. Tang Hai and Zhao Tailai regained their senses and immediately charged towards Black Devil King and the others. Because once Sima Kuan escaped, the three of them, the Water Qilin and the Ink Qilin, would definitely not dare to continue fighting. Therefore, they had to tie them down and prevent them from escaping. After all, these were 5 war gods. Once they escaped, there would be no end to their troubles. As expected, the Black Devil Theta Wong and the Water Qilin looked at each other and nodded at the same time. They immediately scattered in all directions and fled in terror. Damn it! Tang Hai and the other man were furious. Don't worry, no one can escape today. Qin Feiyang smiled and sent Lin Yi's body into the castle. Then, he activated the walk formula and chased after the Flame King. However, at this moment, Emperor Chen and Lu Yun suddenly appeared in front of Qin Feiyang and rushed towards Qin Feiyang frantically. What's going on? Qin Feiyang was taken aback. Zhao Tailai and the other man were also surprised. Wasn't Lin Yi dead? Why would Emperor Chen and Lu Yun still attack Qin Feiyang? And that cold look did not change at all from before. Haha, Qin Feiyang, you still don't know. The Lin Yi you killed before was not Lin Yi's true body at all. The Flame King laughed grimly. Not Lin Yi's true body? Zhao Tailai and the other man looked at each other. Not her true body? Could it be a clone? But that's not right. The clone was just an energy body without flesh and blood. But when Lin Yi died before, there was flesh and blood. The art of indifference is not that simple. Those who cultivate the art of indifference can use their own blood to condense 3 clones. These 3 clones are all existences with flesh and blood. In other words, you just killed a clone just now. Moreover, anyone who is controlled by the eye of indifference, no matter how far away or where they are, Lin Yi can control them. For example, she can control Emperor Chen and Lu Yun to self-destruct and even commit suicide in front of you. If they really commit suicide in front of you, you will definitely be in pain. So, don't chase us. Hurry up and think about how to deal with Lu Yun and Emperor Chen. The Flame King laughed again and again. His laughter was full of sarcasm. So that's how it is. Qin Feiyang nodded his head in realization. Young master, what will you choose now? Tang Hai and the other man glanced at Qin Feiyang and chased after the Flame King and Tianwu King. Originally, they thought that as long as Lin Yi was killed, Emperor Qin and Lu Yun would wake up. But they didn't expect that it was just a clone. Now, Qin Feiyang was faced with a choice again. Should he be ruthless and kill Emperor Qin and Lu Yun, or continue to be tortured by Emperor Chen and Lu Yun? Self-destruct? Suicide? Qin Feiyang murmured. Looking at the 2 old men in front of him, he suddenly smiled and said, Grandpa, Grandpa, thank you for your hard work these years. Leave the rest to your grandson. After saying that, Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and 2 blood-red rays flew out and directly went into Emperor Chen and Lu Yun's eyebrows. Blood suddenly splashed out. The 2 slowly fell down. Then, Qin Feiyang sent the 2 bodies to the castle, then looked up at the direction where Sima Kuan and Blood Kirin went. Step by step, he disappeared between heaven and earth. Inside the castle, looking at the corpses of Emperor Qin and Lu Yun, Ling Yunfei and others couldn't help but feel sad. Little Qinzi didn't have to kill them. As long as he destroyed their cultivation and killed Lin Yi, the effect of the Eye of Oblivion would naturally be lifted. The white-eyed wolf murmured, "Do you think this lord didn't think of this?" The inner demon sighed. Then why did he kill Emperor Chun and Lu Yun? The white-eyed wolf was puzzled. Just now, Flame King said very clearly that no matter where Emperor Chun and Lu Yun are, Lin Yi can control them. If he only destroyed their cultivation, in case they really killed themselves in front of this lord will definitely suffer more, as Flame King said. So, it's better to kill them himself. The inner demon said, "Don't you still have us? We can help to watch them." The white-eyed wolf said, "Do you know what the future situation will be like? Not to mention you, even I don't know what will happen next. Try to save as much trouble as possible. This is this lord's idea. Of course, if he did this, it means that he has made up his mind to open the gate of rebirth and resurrect everyone." The inner demon sighed. The gate of rebirth. Everyone was silent. "I know that you all don't want him to open the gate of rebirth. In fact, I don't want it either. But we can't stop him. Because he is such a person." The inner demons laughed. "What about you? If Fei Yang loses his cultivation or even sacrifices himself because of this, will you sacrifice yourself with him?" Luo Qingzhu asked. "No." The inner demons shook his head. Luo Qingzhu said, "Then, if he just loses his cultivation, can he share it with you and restore his cultivation immediately?" "No. If he loses his cultivation, he will lose it. Even if I have a bond with him, I can't share it with him. Besides, do you really think that opening the gate of rebirth is as simple as losing his cultivation?" The inner demon sneered. When Ling Yunfei heard this, he was shocked. Has Boss Qin already comprehended the fourth style to perfection? No. It's only at the initial level. The inner demons shook his head. Then why did you say that it's not as simple as losing his cultivation? Ling Yunfei frowned. Although it's only at the initial level, if he opens the gate of rebirth again, the price will be greater than the first time. The inner demons said, "How great is it?" Everyone was surprised. The inner demons pondered for a while and sighed. The first time he opens the gate of rebirth, although he will lose his cultivation, he can still cultivate again. The second time he opens the gate of rebirth, he will lose his cultivation talent. In other words, he will never be able to cultivate again. What? Ling Yunfei and the others turned pale. If he could no longer cultivate, wouldn't he be reduced to a real ordinary person? What are you all doing? Isn't the life of an ordinary person what I've always wanted? You should be happy for him, not sad. The inner demon said. Even so, doesn't he still have to go to the god's relic to follow in the footsteps of the Qin Emperor? Ling Yunfei said, I will help him complete these things. He just needs to enjoy his life here in peace. The inner demon said. Outside, in the sky above a mountain range, the Black Devil King stopped in the sky and looked back at the void behind him. He should have gotten rid of him. After not seeing Qin Feiyang's figure for a long time, the Black Devil King murmured. Then, he became weak and collapsed in the void. He sighed. What a terrifying guy. Isn't it too late to realize how terrifying I am? But suddenly, a laughter sounded from the mountain below. Qin Feiyang. The Black Devil King suddenly trembled and looked down. He saw Qin Feiyang standing on the peak of a mountain below, looking up at him. Why are you so fast? Where are Lu Yun and Emperor Chun? The Black Devil King's face suddenly turned pale. Qin Feiyang said indifferently, I killed them with my own hands. You killed your own grandfather and grandfather with your own hands? The Black Devil King's body trembled. An indescribable fear and despair emerged in his heart. If he could kill his grandfather and grandfather with his own hands, what else could he not do? Qin Feiyang took a step forward and walked in the air. His long hair fluttered in the air, and his clothes fluttered in the wind. He was like a demon god, causing the Black Devil King to be frightened out of his wits. Don't kill me. The Black Devil King trembled and knelt in the void. Qin Feiyang, spare my life. I will help you deal with the demon ancestor and stay by your side in the future. I will be your slave, no need. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Don't force me, the Black Devil King anxiously roared. Qin Feiyang was silent. Step by step, he walked toward the Black Devil King. Force me, huh? Fine, I will die with you. The Black Devil King roared. A destructive aura suddenly rushed out of his body. Chapter 1833. Self-destruct? Qin Feiyang murmured. He did not panic, nor did he try to hide. You. The Black Devil King stared at Qin Feiyang in shock. How dare he self-destruct? He only wanted to scare Qin Feiyang and find a chance to escape. However, Qin Feiyang did not seem to be afraid of him. What should I do? Do I really have to self-destruct? I don't want to. I am the god of war. The Black Devil King roared in his heart, his face full of fear. Qin Feiyang approached the Black Devil King step by step and said with a smile, "If you hesitate any longer, you will lose the chance to self-destruct. Damn it, bastard, I'll kill you." The Black Devil King roared as his body exploded in the void. The void within tens of thousands of miles turned into chaos. Qin Feiyang was also drowned by the explosion. This aura, it's the Black Devil King. The Black Devil King's self-destruction also alerted King Tianwu, King Yin, Water Qilin, and Black Qilin. The two men and two beasts were shocked. The Black Devil King self-destructed? Why was that? Tang Hai and Zhao Tailai did not chase after him. Could it be that it was Qin Feiyang? At the same time, Zhao Tailai and Tang Hai, who were behind King Tianwu and King Yin, also felt the Black Devil King's self-destruction. They could not help but smile. Without a doubt, the Black Devil King's self-destruction must have something to do with Qin Feiyang. Since the Black Devil King had self-destructed, Lu Yun and Emperor Chun must have been killed. Decisive in killing. They did not follow the wrong person. Tang Hai retracted his gaze and looked at King Yin. He said with a murderous aura, "I heard from the Blood Qilin that you tortured Old Man Ran and the others in the Demon Tower." "So what?" King Yin roared. "So what? I will repay you 10 times, 100 times, on their behalf." Tang Hai's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He suddenly sped up and appeared behind King Yin. He immediately cut off King Yin's left arm. "Ah!" The Flame King screamed in pain. In his other hand, he grabbed a black broadsword and slashed it towards Tang Hai. This broadsword was also a divine weapon. Moreover, it was the same as the dagger in Tang Hai's hand, a high-grade divine artifact. However, facing the broadsword, Tang Hai only smiled in disdain. He dodged the attack in an instant and chopped off Flame King's right arm. Ah! King Yin was in so much pain that his face was distorted. "My speed isn't something trash like you can compare to. Go to hell and slowly repent." Tang Hai shouted angrily as he thrust his blade into King Yan's head. Blood splattered everywhere as King Yan's sea of knowledge and divine soul shattered on the spot. Following closely, the Flame King fell to the ground unwillingly, and his life force quickly dissipated. Tang Hai glanced at the Flame King coldly. Then, he swooped down, grabbed the broadsword, and left without looking back. "I can't believe I'm going to die here. I can't accept this. I can't accept this." The Flame King murmured. He roared with all his might, but before he could finish his roar, his head smashed into the ground and he died. On the other side, is your physical body really that strong? Zhao Tailai's aura was like a rainbow as he held the axe with both hands. He roared in the sky and chopped at King Tianwu with all his might. Ah! King Tianwu looked at the falling axe in despair. Accompanied by a scream, his body was split into two on the spot. Divine blood stained the sky. As for King Tianwu's divine soul, it was crushed by the axe. "Young master, I won't be a burden to you. I swear." Zhao Tailai raised his head and looked in the direction of the Black Devil King's self-destruction. He held the axe tightly in his hand and muttered to himself. Then, he turned around and left. The shockwaves from the Black Devil King's self-destruction destroyed all directions. The mountains and rivers below were also razed to the ground. In the void, the storm howled. These storms were enough to kill a small stage war god and seriously injure a great stage war god. However, at this moment, a young man wearing blood-red armor walked out of the storm step by step. It was Qin Feiyang. There wasn't a single wound on his body. "The self-destruction of a war god is only us," he muttered. Like a war god, he stepped into the air without looking back. The blood-red armor on his body also slowly dissipated. The auras of King Tianwu and King Yin have also disappeared. What is going on? At this moment, the Water Qilin and Ink Qilin were the most terrified. The Black Devil King self-destructed. The auras of King Tianwu and King Yin had disappeared. They must have met with misfortune. In other words, only the two of them were still alive. They didn't dare to have any wishful thinking, because back then, Yin Nanshan died because of them. With Qin Feiyang's character, he would definitely not let them off. What should they do? Wait for death? They were unwilling. They were all divine beast Qilin and had a bright future. Rely on Qin Feiyang? That was even more impossible, because they knew that Qin Feiyang would definitely not care about their strength. Escape? Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai were so fast. The Demon Dragon Island couldn't open a portal. Where could they escape to? The world in front of them was very vast. However, all they saw was darkness and despair. If I were you, I would have chosen to self-destruct like the Black Devil King. Suddenly, a laugh was heard. The Water Qilin's eyes trembled. He turned his head and saw Qin Feiyang walking over step by step from the void. No, Qin Feiyang, if you can take in the Blood Qilin, you can definitely take me in. Please, can you let me go? The Water Qilin directly gave up struggling and begged. It was laughable that it was still a divine beast Qilin. Before they even fought, it was already scared out of its wits. Do you have the strength of a Blood Qilin? No. Since you don't, why should I keep you alive? Qin Feiyang smiled faintly. He raised his hand, and an invisible force suddenly appeared. Like a tide, it shattered the sky and drowned the Water Qilin. Roar! Accompanied by a helpless cry, the Water Qilin died on the spot. However, your body is still a bit valuable, Qin Feiyang murmured. He waved his hand and took the Water Qilin's body. Then he used the walk formula and rushed in the direction of the Black Qilin. Roar! Boom! From afar, one could hear the Black Qilin's roar. Obviously, the Black Qilin had already fought with someone. This person was either Tang Hai or Zhao Tailai. Sure enough, when Qin Feiyang rushed over, he saw Tang Hai end the Black Qilin's life with one strike. Young master! Sensing Qin Feiyang's aura, Tang Hai looked up and was immediately overjoyed. Then he took the Black Qilin's divine body and flew toward Qin Feiyang. Are they all dead? Qin Feiyang asked. I killed the Flame King and the Black Qilin one after another. I also got the Flame King's divine artifact. As for the Tianwu King, his aura disappeared. I think he must have died in the hands of Zhao Tailai. Tang Hai took out the broadsword and said. Qin Feiyang glanced at the broadsword and said, I killed the Black Devil King and the Water Qilin. Now let's go and deal with Sima Kuan. What about the Black Qilin's divine body? Tang Hai asked. Keep it. After we win, we will use it and the Water Qilin's divine body to hold a Qilin feast. After Qin Feiyang finished speaking, he waved his hand and sent the Black Qilin to the castle. Qilin feast, I'm really looking forward to it. Tang Hai murmured. Young master, old Tang. At this time, Zhao Tailai also rushed over and called out to Qin Feiyang and Tang Hai from afar. Tang Hai said, We've already finished, and you're only here now. Aren't you taking too long? Zhao Tailai landed in front of the two, looked at Tang Hai and said, Isn't it just a little faster than me? What are you so proud of? Is this just a little? Tang Hai joked. I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you. Zhao Tailai stared at him, then looked at Qin Feiyang and said, Young master, I have already killed King Tianwu. Well done. Let's go and find Sima Kuan. Qin Feiyang waved his hand and swept up the two of them, then flew in the direction of the Blood Qilin and Sima Kuan. Zhao Tailai shook his head and said, Young master, to be honest, I really envy you. If I had this kind of speed, Tang Hai wouldn't have the chance to laugh at me. In your dreams, Tang Hai rolled his eyes and said, By the way, does King Tianwu have a divine artifact? He doesn't have a divine artifact, only a high-grade divine art that strengthens the body. I think it's called the Heavenly Martial Divine Art, but you don't have to think to know that he definitely won't give it to me. Zhao Tailai said with some regret. If he could obtain the Heavenly Martial Divine Art, his strength would undoubtedly soar by a large margin. Tang Hai nodded and glanced at Qin Feiyang's face. He said, "Young master, are you really okay?" Qin Feiyang was shocked, and he said suspiciously, "What could possibly happen to me?" Tang Hai said, "I think you know what I mean." Qin Feiyang looked at the empty space in front of him and whispered, "Are you talking about Grandpa and Grandpa?" Tang Hai nodded. Tang Hai didn't believe that Qin Feiyang wouldn't feel anything after killing his own grandpa and grandpa. Qin Feiyang was silent for a while and then smiled. "Don't worry about me. I'm not as weak as you think." "That's true." Tang Hai nodded and smiled. Then, he looked at Qin Feiyang and said with a guilty conscience, "Then I think you won't blame me for slapping you, right?" "Yes, I forgot about that. Young master, old Tang has offended his superiors. He must be severely punished. It's best to make him hand over the netherworld divine art," Zhao Tailai said with righteous indignation. Then a sinister smile crept up on his face and he said, "Then give it to me, old Zhao. I feel that something is wrong recently. It's like someone is watching me from behind." "So it's you. You've been secretly thinking about my netherworld divine art. Let me tell you, you can't be too immoral." Tang Hai suddenly became angry and glared at Zhao Tailai. Zhao Tailai said with a sinister smile, "Then let's talk about it." "There's no discussion," Tang Hai said with a dark face. "You want me to give you an axe in exchange?" Zhao Tailai said, "Do you think I'm stupid? The axe was originally given to you by the young master. You want to give me an axe in exchange for the netherworld divine art? If I really agree, you'll definitely turn around and ask the young master for another divine weapon. In the end, not only did you not lose anything, but you also gained the netherworld divine art." "Old Zhao, I really didn't know that you were such a cunning person," Tang Hai said angrily. Zhao Tailai smiled embarrassedly, which made him a little embarrassed. Qin Feiyang glanced at the two of them and felt a little helpless. He felt that the two of them were more and more like Tan Wu and the infernal divine dog, a pair of quarrelsome lovers. But after the quarrel between the two of them, his mood improved a lot. But then again, why did Tan Wu and the infernal divine dog leave without saying a word? Where were they now? And Dong Zhengyang? This person was like an enigma that no one could fathom. In fact, Tang Hai was quarreling with Zhao Tailai precisely because he knew that Qin Feiyang was not feeling good now. In other words, he was making Qin Feiyang happy in disguise. Otherwise, with his character, how could he say so much nonsense? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.